Winners don't use drugs.
Happy
Winners use
Saturday. It's Saturday. How you doing, everybody?
It's technically
Yeah,
Sunday.
now it's Sunday. Well, depending on where you are in the world. Yeah.
What's up, friends?
Greetings.
Welcome to the show.
Darius and Tommy, thank you guys for joining me for this movie. Sssss. 7 S's. You want to get technical? It's pronounced 7 S's. The movie is actually made off of a noise. It's like if you made a movie about cows and you call it moo.
I'm telling you, the way you say it sometimes sounds like double Dutch. You know.
What's up, Vigilante?
Yeah.
What up, Vigilante? What up,
New York? Hey,
How
what's
you guys
up,
doing?
Vigilante? RR.
How you guys doing?
Parcel tongue time. Yes. And there was
Yes.
a moment. In
So, I wonder how many people have seen this movie.
I don't even know if people have even heard of this movie, being that it's a fucking noise.
So, the guy who worked on this film before Jaws. Yeah, this guy worked on this before Jaws. This seen no attention. Jaws got all the attention. But
Zanuck.
It's a test run.
This movie got skipped over. Looked it up, yeah.
it was
you.
a box
Thank you.
office squash.
Was this even in the movies? I swear I thought I saw something that this was a TV movie.
It was.
Which explains the blocking of the nudity.
yeah, and the blurring.
And it
the
got
lake.
really bad ratings.
No titties.
We got a titty tease one time. Well, 2 titty teases.
No bush.
But this is the second Dirk Benedict movie that I'm covering on my channel, because a while back me and Darius did a Body Slam from 1986.
Yeah.
I like Dirk Benedict though. You know, he didn't do
His
much in
face
this
man.
movie. He really didn't do much in this movie, but well, he did turn into a snake, but like he didn't get to show his usual Dirk Benedict. I'm a douchebag, scumbag charm. You know?
There was
He's there for the
no
ladies.
poker games.
No.
He did poker a little bit. later on. He took her V card, and I don't mean Viper. Let's see.
What up,
Hey,
mate?
what's up?
How you doing?
What up,
Space Slab X.
Readings.
Ratings.
Yeah, Vigilante. Most people haven't heard of this movie. Like I said, if you type in S 7 times in a Google search, you might find this movie.
Slasher, did you see this at the video store on
No,
the VHS?
nope. This was
No?
another one I found out through the internet. This was
Mhm.
another one I was able to find through the internet.
Mm,
Like a lot of these older movies I've been watching.
Yeah, and his character was in the remake too as a chick. Although I do like that version of the show. I thought I wouldn't, but
Wait, what? Oh,
yeah, no, he was
his
Starbuck
character in
in
Battlestar Galactica got gender swapped.
Starbuck.
Okay.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, see, I wasn't a
Katie
Battlestar guy. So.
Sackhoff.
Yeah,
So
that show was great. I love the original one. I've got the entire collection. I had to buy that in physical media because I just don't trust the damn sites to keep it.
Well, I'm not going to
Yeah,
diss
well,
the show and say it sucks. I'm just going to say I didn't get into it. I didn't really watch it too much. I knew he was in it though.
I see. Not Kevin though. Not Kevin Spacey. Yeah, he's feeling it. Man,
Stop.
I'll tell you what. Once again, Archive comes through. as being a
thank
nice.
you. There was a mishap while we were watching this.
No, there was
With
a
a
mishap.
Where the
Well-
sound was gone.
Yeah, well, traditionally, you got to go to, like, if it's not being hosted on a service that you have, you got to go to a pirate site, or like Dailymotion. I consider Dailymotion a pirate site, although they do have
it really
Disney spamming ads
sucks.
all over it.
It really sucks for things like this because, like these are things that are not well known. So wouldn't you like to get the word out about them and, like, put some? I do think this was released on DVD or a Blu-ray. I think it was. I really think it was. I think I saw.
But still not a
I
sleeper,
seen
yeah.
something for
Sleeper.
Shout Factory.
But that's the premise of what archive is for, right? I mean, it's sort of like Library of Congress preservation, except that it's more like Wikipedia and anyone can upload. They run the Wayback Machine, right? So they're just archiving things for preservation, and it's nonprofit. So it's kind of it doesn't make it more legal necessarily, but without profit, they can kind of get away with a lot unless a takedown request is issued. But I found a lot of stuff on archive. They don't run ads because they're nonprofit, and like PBS, and it's usually pretty good quality. It can still get taken down, but lately they're just the stuff I find on there that I can't find anywhere else is so impressive that
they are providing an
I always check.
essential
Service.
Yeah. So I always like to check just to see maybe it's recently I found a game. I was looking for a game based on a website. It was from back in the day, Homestar Runner. They had a video game that came out years ago. You could get it on Steam until it got taken down. Because what was it? That company, Telltale Games, right? They make a certain type of game that they're known for. Well, that company got bought out and shut down, so the game got pulled because it didn't support it anymore. It came back for like maybe a couple of years. And then just this year, it got pulled again. I'm like, I just found out about it. Now I can't even get it on Steam. Well, I found it on Archive.
That is
no
very
way.
suspicious.
Well, because of it had to do with the license. The company that had the license to publish it no longer exists. So they
Darius is feeling.
Yes. And so I'm like, man, I got a whole game because you can't buy it anymore because it's not supported. So I'm like, oh, well, maybe I could find it. I couldn't find it on my my private BitTorrent pirate tracker. The invite only. The good stuff is usually on there.
All right, I don't remember how I was able to
Pirate
see.
Bay.
I don't remember how I was able to see this movie for the first time. I think it might have been Sailing the Seven Seas. Sailing the Seven Seas.
Yeah.
Sailing
Pirate Bay.
Full of sea serpents. But it wasn't the horrible. All right, we went through 3 copies trying to finish this movie. The last one that you found on Archive was the best one. It looked top notch compared to the first 2. That second one I found was glaucoma vision.
Well, I didn't know because I know you always have one ready when we start, but you never know what you're going to get on those, and sometimes you get pop-up ads, which are a real pain in the ass.
Well, I thought the version you were playing was from the daughter's perspective.
Yeah, with her myopia. Oh, man, I think they did that. That was the YouTube version, actually. That had the. I think they just blurred the audio or the video so that it didn't get recognized.
This second.
Yeah. Telltale's out of it. Yeah. Just June of this year, I think, is when they shut down again, and so now you can't get the Homestar Runner game anymore. You can't even buy it. I'm like, well, I was ready to pay money for it, but if you can't buy it. Well, maybe I can find it.
Then you're
archived.
screwed.
Right, and I don't like being screwed. So I got a little miffed about this, and I missed my window. All these years it's been out, and now I find out about it. They just took it down. I was mad. So when I get mad, I get really motivated.
Never play the
I found it.
sequel.
Oh man, I tell you what, I'm never more motivated and effective at doing something until I'm like really
feeling
mad.
this.
Yeah.
You gotta
Well, I
feel
found
this when you watch this
So-
movie. You're like, sis.
So yeah, just gotta give a shout out
You're
to
literally
the
saying
archive
to
for
the screen, sis. Yeah, thank you, thank you for finding this.
Yeah,
Much
thanks for
appreciated.
hanging out
know.
and feeling this thing.
So
That's where I found the movie for X-Files. It was hidden. It's on there.
all right, so let's get into the beginning of the movie.
Oh my god. So
where we get who we find out later is a carny. He's like a carny guy, and
Jimmy.
as I was calling him while we were watching the movie, Dr. Wiley, is this dude.
Oh,
You just look at this dude and you're like, mad scientist.
You know who he reminded me when I first seen him? There was a scene in the original Car Wash, and there was the one guy who had the bottle of piss, but they thought it was a bomb because they said there was a mad bomber who had the same type of bottle with aluminum foil on top. So they tackle him and they break his piss bottle, and it really reminded me of him at first.
I never saw a Car Wash.
Oh,
I think they were going for like an Albert Einstein look, but with his hair, with the white mustache, but with his hair slicked back the way it was, he really did look like a white Al Sharpton. And once one of the YouTube
Al
said it,
Sharpton for snakes.
Yeah. Once Slasher mentioned the Al Sharpton, I was like, oh, I couldn't unsee it. I was like,
also
with this,
he
was wearing a suit at the time too.
Yeah, but this guy too, man. Like, you see what a psycho he is, because he's totally fucking. His opinion on humanity is shit, but he loves snakes.
Yeah, he's crazy.
He does not like humans. He likes snakes.
No,
he hangs out with snakes. He has a snake riding shotgun with him in his car. He's giving this snake booze.
Yeah, but he has a weirdly like Judeo-Christian view on things that is like very strong but very unusual in the way he thinks that the serpent in the Garden of Eden was there to do God. It was the devil, but there to do God's work. He keeps quoting from the Bible.
Work.
God's smack.
And even Dirk Benedict's like, that's weird. Really, you think so? It's like, oh yeah, of course. Like, I don't know. He's very, very biblically or very Old Testament. It seems a lot of the names are kind of like biblical names, even like modern, but biblical names like David.
Harry, Tim.
No, not Harry, not Tim, not Christina. Christina is, I guess, kind of a New Testament name.
Christina,
Christ,
his daughter, Christina.
Yeah, but like David is Old Testament. I really thought he was going to have to fight someone named Goliath, as much as the doctor was quoting the Bible. But he keeps talking about Adam, Adam and Eve, and I can't remember what else. But yeah, he's very biblical, very religious, but very weird.
That's a guy from Car Wash, and that's why I say he kind of reminded me of him just a little bit.
Well, his hair is definitely like, he looks like he fucking stepped right out of the DeLorean. He really does.
Oh yeah.
But see this the one picture on the side where it shows with the white hair?
Yeah.
That's why I was saying it kind of reminded me of him a little bit.
That's what I was saying. Like, he had perfect mad scientist hair.
Mm-hmm. We've seen other movies where the crazy scientist like seems to worship a particular animal, or a thing that's like, oh, they're a higher life form than humans for whatever reason.
His opinion on humans is
Right.
shit. Yeah, it's like, or
I admire them. They're not like us. They're better. Blah blah blah. Yeah, and
he loves
he
his
refers.
snakes. Oh my god, him and,
Oh yeah.
and his,
Well, he
him and
respects
his
them.
crazy ass daughter.
Yeah, and he definitely who was definitely a virgin, but he like he refers to the king cobra as Your Majesty, and he calls it the king, like like he really thinks of it as a king and treats it as one. It's kind of strange.
But he'll still play with that out in his fucking snake farm. He'll still, smack it around for $18.15. Anyway, we're getting a little forward. We're getting a little too far ahead. So, all right. So it starts with him putting a fucking crate into the Carney guy's back truck. Him and the Carney guy
and he's saying it's a snake, but you can hear the thing making almost like childlike sounds.
It's making these noises. Yeah. And the guy's banging on the crate too. He's like, "You shut up now." He'll get used to it. And then all of a sudden, you find out this guy is like recruiting students. Like, would you say that Dirk Benedict would be this guy's intern?
Yeah, okay, well, kind of.
No, he was going to be his assistant.
Right, but he wasn't paying him yet, was he?
I don't think he was going to get paid.
There was a jar.
He was eventually he was working for Knowledge because Knowledge was his salary.
And he was
that
basically
is an internship.
It was basically an experiment.
Yeah, that's exactly what an internship is.
There will be no money put on your deathbed. You will have a scaly stomach.
Yeah, hopefully you could get a job with the experience from the work you didn't get paid for.
Believe me, you will be able to slither into any business once I'm done with you.
All right, wait. So when all right, so we see Dirk Benedict leaves class, and class. Sorry,
it's supposed to be like 20.
Well, I don't know. Like it's college. What were you? 21 when you got out of college? I didn't go to college.
I wasn't. I was 30. But no, maybe it was snake school, snake college,
snake school, the herpetology. That's right. He's herpetology.
Which sounds like opiology.
It sounds like something completely different.
Do you guys know what opiology is, or whatever? Someone mentions like another field of study in the movie talking about snakes. I know herpetology is like the study of snakes, but then I don't know what opiology is. Sounds Greek.
Anyway. Studying Ron Howard.
No, not Opie. Opie, like opiate.
Yeah, opiology.
I can look it up, but I'm eating buttery popcorn. I gotta clean up before I touch my keyboard. But I can look it up. It was something else. Some things have like multiple studies related to them that have random people pop in for seeing scores. Oh, you like the scores?
The scores? It's contagious. It's contagious.
Herpetology having a good. Yeah.
No, it said herp, like herpes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like herpetology, but he's doing herpetology.
What's up, Bone? How you doing?
Yeah, what's up, Bone? Bone has joined us.
Hey. What's up, Bone?
Happy Saturday or Sunday, depending where you are.
You can't guarantee no spoilers.
Spoiler for a 1973 movie. It's fine.
$800 is big bucks in those days.
$800 for amputee Snake Man.
Tell me what,
that you could put in your sideshow.
I'm pretty sure slave traders probably paid less.
Yeah,
or no, paid more. I'm sorry. Slave traders probably paid more than what he paid.
Yeah, the great sin is perpetrated over $800, which is like Alpha Dog, right? The whole, plot of the movie happens over $800.
But this guy's business dealings are like hit and miss, right? Because like he's living off getting the snake venom, and he's also making snake people, and then he's also doing his cobra taming act on his front lawn. But
And
the
then
Cobra
whole
Taming
time-
Act, the Cobra Taming Act makes the least money, it seems.
Well, yeah, but the whole time he was actually hoping to get those grants from the university.
Yeah, he went for a grant at the university, and so he manages to pull. All right, that scene with Dirk Benedict in the beginning. That's where we first get a scene. Not just we get the bully, right? The bully was like threatening him in the hallway, right? The bully, I mean the guy who breaks into women's houses to try to say, "Hey, what's going on?" That guy.
Is that what he was? Because I couldn't hear the audio real well yet at the very beginning. Cool.
But
In the hallway to school.
yeah, because some guy's shaking his fist at him in the hallway when Dr. Wiley runs up to him. I keep calling this guy Dr. Wiley.
I mean,
Dr. Stoner. His name is Dr. Stoner.
His name is Stoner. Yeah, he looks like Dr. Wiley. To me, he looks like White Sharpton, and he kind of looks like yuppie Einstein as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1973 Einstein. Yes.
Yeah.
And he's crazy. He's insane.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Which doesn't mean he can't get a grant.
So Dirk Benedict is now
this
like
is about climate change.
Dirk Benedict is now his like living like student assistant, and he's teaching him about devenoming the black mamba. The black mamba.
Yeah.
He loves his black mamba snakes.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's a color code to the snakes as far as venom. The green, it means totally safe. Yellow means
Safe.
Venomous, but there's a serum for it on the wall over here. You just gotta go get it and inject yourself with the booster if you get bit.
We got the
But
boosters.
the red dot means highly venomous. And to get the serum, you have to. It probably won't get here in time. You have to order it on demand, and probably won't arrive in time for you to not die.
What were you gonna say, Tommy?
Just remember, folks, if red touches black, you're okay, Jack.
Mm-hmm.
Red touches yellow, you're a dead felon.
Yep, and he says that, or someone says that in the classroom there.
Yeah,
Coral
professor.
snake, I think, was
professor.
Yeah. It was like a coral snake is red on black on yellow, and it was the actual. Which one's the really venomous one? Red on yellow, then black.
You gotta defend the black snake. Wait, color code 2.
Color code 2, right? Yeah, and not only that, but the black mamba is he's milking it. So he pulls it out barehanded, barebacking the black mamba just to milk her. And,
we also got that. We got that disclaimer in the very beginning that like all these snakes are real. Although I doubt the one at the end that that got the shotgun treatment was real. Sorry, spoiler.
So apparently the scene at the end with the David and the mongoose was legit.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Ricky Chicky Savvy. Man, the sound that mongoose makes is just ridiculous.
That thing was good. Every time they had the camera on that thing, it's going nuts. And we see that thing in the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even have a humorous analogy yet to describe just the shrieks of this mongoose, just squealing. I mean, like I don't know, Tommy,
squealing.
like an SJW squirrel, maybe on PCP. I
would say an SJW squirrel on
It was just
Twitter.
freaking.
On X.
I'm just, it was like a clicking, screeching kind of sound. You know, like
And
I
so
never heard anything like it.
we see when he brings Dirk to the house that Dirk and his daughter are gonna hit it off just fine because they look like they're in
Yeah.
love.
Oh, they're both
From the second
attractive
they-
and around
from
the same age.
Second they saw each other, and she's not.
Yeah.
She's weird looking. I'm sorry. No offense
Well-
to this woman if she's still alive, but she's not
I
attractive.
thought she looked fine. Like, I'd bang her. And that's the thing is that
The other
he
girl,
brings-
the girl, the fucking window guy banged was hotter than her.
well, she's
For
definitely been sheltered.
1973 standard.
Oh, Okay,
But she had
you guys-
really good bush.
Well,
and Darius said she's very slippery.
Well, you guys remember Rappaccini's daughter? Like it was Nathaniel Hawthorne that wrote it, where there was like a sort of a mad scientist with poisonous. I hadn't thought about how similar it is until just now. But basically, poisonous plants and flowers, and he raises a daughter alone, isolated in this poisonous plant environment, right? So she develops immunity to the
This
poison.
woman hangs out with the snake in her
Yeah.
bed. Like she's
Right.
just chilling. This thing is
But
like
she's
a
never
fucking,
known
This
man.
thing is a python that needs 4 people to move it later on.
Right.
They have to
Yeah.
have to ask 2 cops to help them to fucking move this python later on. And
All
those 2
takes 4
cops
people.
regret it, but
Mm.
that's for later.
But he brings the face man into his home with
Oh,
his
wait.
young virgin daughter.
Also, spoiler alert: the cops in this movie, surprise, surprise, are very stupid because we've
Oh my
never
God.
seen that in movies before.
Yeah. Right.
They
Because
are actually one banjo away from being in Deliverance.
oh my God. You know, the funny thing is that country folk are actually like pretty intelligent, because they have a different set of skills and they
That's
talk
why you got
to
to
be more
set the
resilient.
bar. That's why you got to set the
Yeah.
bar, Darius. I mean, there are Southern folk and country folk, and then there's Deliverance folk, and both
Yeah.
do exist. It's true. It is not a myth.
Yeah,
well,
there's
I'm
legit
I haven't
like
seen that, but I'm sure.
inbred back-ass woods people out there.
Mhm.
There really is.
like the home episode of X-Files.
Jason Voorhees was based on a real person.
Oh no.
Wait, was Jason supposed to be inbred?
Did you see his eyes?
No,
That's
no.
true. He did look like Sloth from the Goonies.
Sloth was his son.
Oh man. JW. Wow. You know what I mean? though, with the squeaking, like the squeaking.
Yeah, that mongoose was going nuts.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and funny.
Using
I hear that kind
real
of sound every
fucking
day from the
animals.
pigs.
Yeah, they
Well,
were using these
what
real
they found.
animals. And you said that end fight with the mongoose and the cobra was. Oh wait, was he a cobra? He was a cobra at the end, right?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry for
yeah.
the spoiler again. Whoops.
I think it was a king cobra.
How is a fucking king cobra supposed to survive a Holocaust? Like, do they mean that a fucking snake is going to be standing at the end of? Well, not standing. More like
You mean a nuclear
slithering.
holocaust?
Yeah, like, well,
Yeah.
he gives him this speech.
Just to be clear.
All right, anyway, this fucking guy is a mad scientist. Why would you want?
Yeah.
You can see from the beginning this guy's a mad scientist.
Mm-hmm. And they're cold blooded too. So like a snake, if bombs like blot out the sun, just like a volcano erupting, the Earth gets colder.
It goes,
why
goes
would a
into what they
cold-blooded
call
creature-
nuclear winter.
And
Right.
also, turning a man into a snake is useless because isn't the advantage that men have over snakes is limbs?
I mean,
You're just kind of wasting limbs, right?
well, in our intelligence.
We
Which is
can also
why
see that,
he-
like, you can give the man
you know.
snake-like abilities because he does end up giving Dirk Benedict, like Dirk Benedict did the snake bite lash.
Yeah,
And he
Well,
kept getting
at one
thrown
time,
to the floor and slithering around, right? He was kept getting up right after he was getting thrown, right?
well, at one time, snakes actually did have limbs. There is a version of
Mhm.
the snake that still has like partial appendages left from limbs that it had,
Is that like a skink?
something like that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Not a skank,
Yeah, but
but
he's
a
not
skink.
we see later on he's not wanting to give them limbs. We see that he wants to turn them into full on fucking snakes. He doesn't want human snake hybrids. He wants full on snakes
Well,
that
a
used to be
snake can
humans.
slither into a hole that nothing with limbs could fit into.
Oh, all right. So we also get like the we got the story about Tim, who's missing in action, who used to be his assistant, and then and he's hanging out with Harry, his pet python, who's an alcoholic, who he reads stories to. So Harry might have a huge backstory that we never got to find out about.
Was Harry reading a Playboy or something? He's very sophisticated.
It's like, Harry, I can't keep jerking off your snake dick anymore. Please, please, Harry. Please, we're friends.
Snakes don't have dicks, do they?
We're friends and all, but please.
Wait, I don't think snakes have dicks. I know, like turtles have just a cloaca, right? It's in their tail. They have dicks in their tail. I don't know about snakes.
I don't know. I believe that Harry used to be human.
Well, I haven't even figured that out. That was my blonde moment.
All right, Darius and Tommy, do you guys agree that Harry used to be human? Because I'm totally on board.
Oh, yeah. No, it was obvious when you said it. You both figured it out real quick. And then when you kind of said it like it was obvious, I'm like, oh, my God, I didn't even. That's why he's an alcoholic. That explains everything. Why he sleeps in her bed and he drinks like Bacardi.
And he rides shotgun in people's cars.
Right. All of his odd behaviors that's, somewhat human behavior. Something like that makes perfect sense. They never say it in the movie.
No, they never say it, but we do get like indications that it is. Just by Dr. Stoner hanging out with him.
No, Space Lab. I'm actually talking about snakes.
Well, Tommy, do you agree that Harry was human at one point? Do you agree with the theory?
Well, yeah, I was the first one to say it. Because Darius was actually like, "Oh, I can't believe I didn't see that." I know you were thinking it, but Darius didn't even have that thought.
Yeah, but I just didn't even. It didn't even occur to me until you said it. You're like, "Well, obviously Harry was a human, right?" I'm like, "Oh, of course, duh." I didn't even think of it.
He also, because Harry had a human name. You know what I'm saying? Tim was the failed experiment. I'm sure if Tim would have been kept around, he would have called him Tim.
Too many Spider-Man comics. Yeah. Oh, I thought of that, except that the lizard regrows a limb, right? Doc Connors does it to regrow his amputated arm. This is kind of the opposite, right? Because the snake has no limbs, and so they lose it when they become a snake.
Well, he's also like, Dr. Stoner does not have any missing limbs, so he's just doing this out of madness. He's not doing this to like regenerate himself. He's doing that. This is complete madness. This guy's a madman.
Yeah, snakes with arms or lizard. I think, a skink is basically like more like built like a snake, right, with legs.
He's also showing him all the snakes once he's at the house. He's showing them all the labels for which ones are venomous and which one aren't. And then he starts playing. And then he starts playing with the most venomous one right in front of Dirk Benedict.
Yeah, the Black Mamba. I should have been Black Mamba.
He loved that guy.
Yeah.
Even though
it's at that point he's also leading them on by showing because he gets nipped. he does get nipped, and he's saying, "Oh, well, the shots I have actually protect me from a bunch of the bites." So I mean, that's kind of leading into what he's given to Dirk. That's
he
what
gets
all of his
nipped.
boosters.
He gets nipped a couple times by that black mamba.
Mm-hmm. It says he has enough serum in his blood that he's okay because he's had his own inoculation and booster after booster. Yeah. The first one he says, "Oh, red dot with black mamba, very venomous." Whoop, opens it up, pulls it right on out, and milks it.
Starts playing with it right in front of fucking Dirk Benedict like it's nothing.
Yeah, he has the black mamba bite a jar with like a cloth wrap on the top, and then that's how the venom gets milked out of the fangs.
No, actually, we see later on the Cobra's the one you don't want to fuck with, Space Lab.
Right. And there is one. They called it a viper. It looks like a big anaconda.
I love every time. Like, all right, say what you want about this movie. All the shots of the King Cobra when the King Cobra's just standing there, just with that fucking look on its face.
Yeah, the King Cobra does prove to be more dangerous in the film than the Black Mamba. And, I mean, it does more damage, it kills more people, and the thing about the Black Mamba is you can hide it in a suitcase and fucking throw it in somebody's shower. Yeah, and he treats the King Cobra with so much respect, calling it Your Majesty. But I think the anaconda is so big that they're not venomous, right? Because they just choke you to death and then swallow you whole.
Anacondas.
His anaconda don't want.
I was channeling John Voight in the movie. Oh. Anacondas, they squeeze you real tight.
Yeah.
The worst accent I've ever heard in a movie was John Voight and Anaconda.
Yeah, and they can unhinge their jaw to swallow you whole, like a couple of girls I met in college.
Here's the one thing I was kind of surprised about, though. You're talking about all the dangerous snakes he had, and he kept going on about the King Cobra.
Oh, yeah.
It's not even the most deadliest. That would be the taipan. I think it's
taipan?
the one that they wanted to get later on, right?
Right, because that is actually the most deadliest snake. It's like I think they had a version of that in Vietnam, and they called it like a 2-step snake. You would take 2 steps and you'd be dead.
Oh yeah, wow!
I remember she was mentioning that in the car that they were going to get that later on.
Of course. Taipan is a book by James Clavell. It's sort of like the boss. It's like the big bad. Yeah, it's like the big boss essentially. In China, I think it's 19th century, but so you say you have King Cobra, you said Taipan, that actually follows the same theme then.
It's funny, I was looking up a list of the poisonous snakes, and the Black Mamba sits all the way down like the 10th spot.
Oh, really? Wait,
King Cobra's like third, and then you got the eastern and inland taipan snakes are one and two.
Toucan? I thought it was toucan.
Okay.
No, taipan.
Oh no, he's saying for lunch he had some tpan. It could be like a
no. I thought when it said it when we were watching it with subtitles, I thought she said toucan. TU.
Yeah, the Black Mamba is specifically mentioned to be from Africa. In the movie, I think
he calls it an African Congo. Bastard.
Yeah, African.
When it bites him the second time, it bites him the second time.
He's from Congo. Black Mama's from the Congo. Probably take down a silverback from the movie.
So, all right, he's like, you're gonna be staying at my house. You got to get your booster.
Yeah.
So he gets
don't let my daughter fuck you.
He gets his booster, right? And then when they're at the dinner table, he gets up to fucking help her with the dishes, and all of a sudden, woozy. He's all woozy.
Yeah.
And,
right.
Then he's having biblical snake dreams, whatever the fuck, whatever the hell that was.
It was pretty weird. And then the doc tells him that it's like a potent hallucinogenic. I'm like, oh, so you give him the jab, and he's gonna get dizzy and trip balls. And but he'll be fine though. Yeah, as long as he doesn't have a heart attack.
Okay, the island Taipan. I see it.
Okay. Taipan.
Yeah, world's most dangerous, and then right after that is the Eastern Taipan. Right
Maybe they couldn't afford one of those at the time, 1973.
Or maybe they just didn't want to take that chance.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah, that dude was face to face with the fucking King Cobra, dude, and that was real. That dude was really face to face with the King Cobra. That guy's a maniac. That actor with Strother Martin. I think his name is Strother Martin.
It's covered. Usual name, but yeah. I mean, that's pretty impressive. An actor. He would have had to be trained to do that. There are some things in movies they don't let an actor do. Like it has to be a professional.
That's what I was saying because it was like 1973. I was wondering if the regulations were so strict at that point.
Yeah, like a 4-year-old version. Those Vietnamese women like tearing off his chest hair were actual professionals, not actors. So like due to law, he's like, since they were really ripping his hair out, you had to get certified. So I mean, but then sometimes actors do they commit, they learn how to fly a plane, fly a helicopter,
but how are you gonna learn how to stand face to face with a cobra? And how many takes? And how many takes is this gonna be?
Yeah, well, you probably learned how to handle snakes properly and got certified in snakeology.
Yeah, but also like what I was saying, it was 1973, so.
Well,
you could throw modern day regulations out the window.
Well, yeah. I mean, we were still getting movies like Cannibal Holocaust.
Yeah, you brought up that shit.
Yeah. Well, we always say that you can't make a movie like that anymore. Some movies you weren't really allowed to make even at the time, but
I spit on your grave. There's a good example.
On your grave is another.
Oh
one.
Yeah. Yeah, you ain't allowed to make the movies like that no more. You weren't allowed to make it then. But they did.
Yeah, but this was also a TV movie. It's like, you're really going to risk your ass for a TV movie?
No. Oh, no.
That nobody probably since this movie came out other than me is talking about this right now. I dedicated a stream to this movie.
Yeah, well, that's.
I mean, Dirk Benedict should be thankful right now. He should be kissing my ass.
He's like, what a sucker.
I was Starbuck.
He's like, so you're the second person who's seen this movie.
Anyway, so he's getting his jabs.
And he's
having weird dreams.
Snake dreams.
He's having a reaction, all right.
And then they did. All right. So the second part with him dealing with this is he wakes up for the snake taming. Like he didn't give him the warning. He's like, oh, by the way, we're gonna have a snake taming in my front yard. Today.
Yeah.
I didn't tell you about that.
Busking for dollars in a jar.
They make $18 off it. This guy is fucking face to face with the fucking King Cobra. This guy is a psycho. He's a psycho.
Well, and I thought that 18 was Dirk's cut, but no, that was the whole pull.
No, that was the whole pull. Yep.
No wonder he sold a snake in a box for $800. $800. He's only making $8.
He's got his Venom deal too. He's like when
milking.
Yeah.
There is something like just oddly exploitative and sexual sounding.
I know. Yeah, this guy would have. This guy was around here, he'd have been run out of town already.
Yeah. Well, the was it one of the cops or no, or the guy at the store or whoever they're selling it to, who basically just totally disrespects the entire profession by saying like, "Oh yeah, you guys have a real racket going, huh? I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, you just give them a little squeeze, and then you sell the venom, and she even insures it for like $1,100. Penny, what?
Oh, they gotta do what they gotta do. But I still don't get the point of the snake taming on the front lawn if you're only gonna make $18. Might as well just like take every day off if you're gonna make $18. She also says like it's better than we did last week.
Oh my
Jesus
god!
Christ, what did they make
And it
last
was
week?
high risk.
Yeah, it was very risky. But like I said, he's insane. Dr. Stoner.
They don't even
So-
put a condom on the
sorry.
snake, to protect the snake
That
handler.
thing is a fucking beast too, man. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ, that thing, and then it looks pissed every time they have the camera on it, and they're getting all these different angles too. I thought those were pretty cool.
Yeah,
Let's
it's
be
not
honest. If you had your teeth,
circumcised.
if you had your teeth yanked out, you'd be quite pissed too.
Well, yeah, and that hood, that Cobra hood, is ribbed for her pleasure. It's a.
I'm telling you,
it's
man.
a
Harry was up in his daughter a couple times, man. There's no way.
thing. He's the face man, of course.
No, Harry.
Harry,
the
Harry the
Python.
snake, yeah.
Harry the
Oh yeah,
Python.
for sure. Yeah, with that big mushroom head, snake head. Yeah, for sure. I said she never knew man, in the biblical sense.
Christina.
But
Her name's Christina.
yeah, Christina. Yeah, they didn't call her Mary, thankfully, but the Virgin Mary. But
She
she
looked
hath
like
known
fucking Marcy
snakes.
from fucking Charlie Brown.
Right. She hath known the serpent.
Yeah, she's very familiar with snakes, but not humans.
Harry the snake can find her G spot.
Okay, so wait, all right. So now let's go to the sideshow that they go to. we get to really see the transformation of both transformations, because we get a glimpse of they might be Tim. They might be the Tim who's gone missing from college, who used to be Dr. Stoner's assistant.
Dirk, thanks.
Even the cops are on this. These ignorant ass cops are on this case. They go to a sideshow, like the strong man and blah blah blah, and
or like the humbug episode of X-Files with the freaks.
I wasn't a huge X-Files fan, so I never saw it.
I've just been binging it recently.
I never saw it.
How funny would it have been if he said, "Well, Tim ran away to join the circus"?
Well.
Yeah, he's just totally like, well, I don't know where
he
he
had much
went.
of a choice.
He's just like, oh, he went somewhere. Go.
Yeah. Oh, and the scientist, the daughter was like, "What happened to Tim? Where'd he
Yeah,
go?"
he said something about going to see his father, and she's like, "Oh, he said his father died," and he's like, "Oh no, wait, I meant his uncle. Sorry."
Right.
I wasn't paying attention. He just slinked off.
It was a slip of my mind.
Yeah. She just kind of buys it. Oh, okay, sure.
No, I know.
She's smart. She's
Very
a nerd, but
very
just
stupidly, she buys it.
I mean, he's like the only guy
Because
that
she just
really
wants Harry
knows.
up in her every night until Dirk Benedict comes
Yeah,
along.
he sleeps in her bedroom and drinks
He's
Bacardi.
chilling in her bed, man, and he's at her
Yeah.
window. He's a guard snake.
Yeah, the way you might have a dog in your bed, checking the window and barking at intruders.
He's hanging out on the fucking windowsill, ready to fucking get any fucking potential rapist that comes through the window. Any potential
Well,
jock.
well, it's a good thing.
And along comes Steve.
Yeah.
Steve is. So when they're so
At the carnival.
Steve and Dirk Benedict got into a fight.
Yeah, because this
All right, so
random guy.
you guys go ahead and explain this fight. I don't know if I can even explain this fight.
Well,
This was so stupid. This is the stupidest fucking fight I've ever seen in a movie. One of the stupidest fights.
well, this guy is a total rando, and he comes up out of nowhere. He's really tall. He kind of looks a little like Dirk Benedict as far as like the profile. Fitting the
But
profile.
he was a big fucking
but
diesel
tall.
guy.
Yeah,
Dirk
and he's
Benedict wasn't a
strong.
big diesel guy.
He's a
Sorry for
beefcake, He's our Chad, but he's like a douche, a real pushy douchebag. He's like a jock bro. He's kind of like a frat bro, but like
He's a
he
beefed
comes
up
on too
version
strong.
of Biff Tannen.
Yeah, he's Biff.
Yes,
He's totally
yes,
Biff.
yeah, Biff, yes, Biff, 100% Biff comes up out of nowhere, trying to holler at Christina and bringing her serious. He got with like plush. She's like, "This is for you," and she's like, "Oh, thanks." And he's like, "Hey, so how about put a bag over your head, put it in your ass."
You and me bang.
Yeah. He basically just wants to strip her, and she's like, "Oh no, thanks. I'm waiting for somebody." He doesn't want to take no for an answer. Dirk Benedict shows up a minute later. He's like, "Hey," and they fight. It's
And
funny
then
because Dirk Benedict would probably
Then
take
he
a lot of people.
slugs them.
Yeah, this guy's like a much bigger version of himself, just scrapping, and cops show up and break it up.
Yeah, Nate.
And
Dirk Benedict is the star of this movie, bro.
Spaceman.
He's basically the star of this
Yep.
movie. Although I guess you would say the mad scientist is the star of this movie because he has the most screen time.
Kind of.
Oh, and I think he's the first build too. So yeah, Dirk Benedict is second.
Dirk
build.
Benedict would be on the
Yes,
poster.
he's in this. Yeah, he's in this. He's in this.
That
He's
face.
somewhat starring in it.
Yeah. And the cops break it up, and they tell Steve, like, "Hey, knock it off, go home. Quit. You start fights like this all the time."
Well,
And he's
no.
like,
First,
"Oh,
when they're getting into the fight, he keeps throwing Dirk Benedict around, and then Dirk Benedict like immediately. He's even like kind of slithering around when he gets thrown in the dirt. He's doing these little moves. You notice he's doing these little moves when he's like scurrying around.
It's kind of subtle, but yeah.
So then when the guy gets him in a bear, hug, he does like the cobra strike to his neck.
Bites him, and nothing really comes of it. I thought he was going to have two marks, 2 holes in his neck and get poisoned, but no, that's not. It doesn't happen. But the cops, have a word with Steve because it's not the first time that he's gotten in a fight with some
Not
dude
the first
for
time
trying
he
to
tried
holler at a
to
woman.
rape a girl at the carnival. We told you.
Right.
We told you the first time.
I mean, it seems like he's trying to do it with consent, but if it's not given, he's not gonna take no for an answer.
All right. He also had that girl that he had back at his dorm room. He also had that girl that he banged 3 times later on. She's talking to the cops later.
Right. Who's like already there, ready to go. Not bad looking either, and he just like
a lot hotter than the other girl.
Yeah, well,
I'll say that again. She was a lot hotter than the other.
But he was looking for something fresh.
It wasn't really fresh if fucking Harry was up in there.
Well, he wanted a smart, nerdy girl to fuck her brains out. Instead of getting fucked to death.
He wanted to give her a salami.
Yeah, and so so
his vengeance is decide to sneak into her window.
Yeah, they go home, and this guy's rando who tried to holler at her for like 2 minutes and got into a
It just
fight.
pops up in her fucking window. Hey,
Right, like
hey,
Sam from
hey!
Clarissa Explains It All, with the ladder.
It was
Just
awesome
hot.
though. We saw the snake before he opened the window and went. "Ah!" The snake was
Yep, like
there
a
on the
guard dog.
fucking dresser, yeah, on the windowsill,
Yep.
ready to get him. That was awesome.
But he pops in the window with a smile on his face, like, "Hey, remember me?" Just like no regard, and pro wrestling movie. Yeah,
Yeah,
yes, we
Nate, we
mentioned that
watched
earlier. We
that
watched that.
movie. We did that movie a couple months ago.
Yep,
I love that movie, as bad as it
yep,
is.
we saw that.
Stupid movie, but I love watching it. I do like some stupid movies. Movies that I know are stupid that I like. Yes.
I couldn't believe the complete audacity of Steve to just, see someone, a stranger,
But he deserved what he got.
proposition her, and then follow her home.
But then he kills Harry. What an asshole. Kills Harry. Yeah, so he goes flying out the window with Harry on his arm. Harry the Python.
Right,
I know
right, because he protected Christina.
Harry, we might be mistaking him for a fucking human character, but no, the snakes have human names.
Yeah, just dude, I just couldn't believe he just follows this woman home. Big smile, like he doesn't even care that he's just the biggest creeper ever.
Yeah, you know what? That's the one explanation I wish we would have gotten in this movie. Who the hell was Harry?
Yeah.
Yeah, you think they were going for a Sssss too? the origin of Harry?
Maybe before he got involved with Jaws, maybe.
Harry Rising.
Yeah, but Steve stomps him in the dirt, and Christina's pretty broken up about it. It's basically her husband and
her live-in boyfriend.
Yeah.
But now she has another live-in boyfriend with Dirk Benedict.
Well, yeah. Meanwhile, the professor's like totally oblivious.
Yeah,
to this.
Dr. Stoner ain't having this because he goes out immediately.
Oh,
okay.
Okay. Well,
I heard the boot right before.
What's crazy is that Steve acts like they're the weirdos after he just followed her home to pop in her window to for some non-consensual lovemaking.
This totally goes against my frat boy date rapist persona.
Yeah. What's wrong with you people having snakes in your house, weirdos? Yeah, and gets on his motorcycle that nobody heard right up to the house, so just right away back home, for his actual girlfriend to ride him.
Dr. Stoner doesn't even wait till the next day. We see Dr. Stoner immediately take the fucking Black Mamba and put it in his fucking in his bag, and he's like, "I'm out."
I'll be back in a minute, and follows. But he does the same thing. Steve, he follows him back home to his house, where he waits and patiently watches. Presumably watches. Steve's girlfriend ride him.
No. He's walking up to the house after she's taken the walk of shame.
Oh, yeah. Steve throws her out.
Steve apparently banged her 3 times, according to the police later.
Yeah,
he banged her 3
throws
times,
her out.
and then he's like, "I gotta take her out. Get out."
Right.
And go back to the worst police in the world. They can't see a goddamn snake bite, a fucking snake bite.
Well, right. And the girlfriend is crying because she believes she fucked him to death. Literally, that she exhausted him.
Yeah.
With sex to the point of, okay, if she was real, I kind of want to meet her. All right, she's got this black magic pussy like that.
Just stop at 2. Yeah. Don't go to number 3. Just stop at 2. It's 3. With 3, you see as the overdose.
But that's the temptation of the snake. Oh wow, she killed that guy with her snatch. Oh man, I can handle it though. No, don't do it. It's worth the risk. I'll be okay though. This guy's like
Yeah,
300 pounds of
he
muscle.
just kicked her out. He was like, "I'm done. I gotta take a shower." Also, like this guy had a lot of time to get down 3 times with some random
Right.
girl after
Right.
he was rejected by the other girl and decided to fucking sneak in her window.
Yeah, and his girlfriend never questions like what took him so long to get home. Sorry, I had to stomp on a
So,
snake.
so yeah, so Dr. Stoner gets revenge by throwing the black mamba in the shower.
Oh yeah, you get a
Oh,
blurry
this
shower door
asshole's
ass
taking a
shot.
shower. Yeah,
Yeah,
we got
and
blurry ass too when Dirk Benedict and Kristen were
yeah,
Catherine,
Christina,
whatever it was, something with a
Christina.
K.
But yeah, they take a dip in the lake. But what's almost poetic is that Steve stomped on Harry, and then the Black Mamba bites him on
Bites
the
his
foot.
foot. Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't even think about that, but that's a good one.
yep. And then
He
Dr.
deserved it.
Stoner gets
Fuck
a
that
big
guy.
smile. Oh yeah, fuck that
That
guy.
guy was going to be a problem later on.
Oh, he
in
was
his life,
already a
even more than
problem.
he already was. Yeah, but I'm
Oh
saying
yeah.
more than he already was.
And Dr. Stoner could not be happier at the start of events. You know, it's a big smile having just murdered Steve with the Black Mamba.
So what? All right. What do you guys think are the best parts of this movie? Whatever you think of this movie or not, like what would you say the best part of the
I mean,
movie was?
I like Harry. Harry's
Might
one
as
of
well
my
go
favorite
into
characters.
spoilers.
I mean, Harry was a cool snake.
Tell you the truth, you're probably going to think this is a weird one, but I actually like the way it ended.
Oh
with
yeah,
the mongoose fight.
Yeah, with the mongoose biting it, and she just screams. Yeah, I like that ending.
It was
It
better
is a
than
bit
the ending of
ambiguous.
Intruder. The ending of Intruder with the screaming. I didn't. That one was kind of lame. But they did it.
Oh yeah, you're just like,
Sorry,
well,
going back to last
what?
week's movie.
No,
Well,
Space
this
Lab.
one,
Harry didn't have any hair on, but it was the behavior of the scientist towards a snake was just very human-like. He was reading to him, giving him drinks. Like, yeah.
Yeah,
well,
but you know what? Tim had hair though. Tim, when he was in the sideshow, we saw that, and it's definitely Tim because when she sees later on in the sideshow, she knows it's Tim. She
Yeah,
runs out screaming.
Tim was
Tim!
a failed experiment.
I know, but
yeah,
I'm saying like Tim did have
his
hair
hair.
though.
It's
Tim
like he's
had like
balding now, though.
yeah, he
Right?
had
Like
the
he's got
George
hair
Costanza.
around the.
He had
He's
the
got like
George
Picard
Costanza.
hair. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, no. In this case, it was more like the ending of Inception, where it's like it's ambiguous, but but it could kind of go either way, and it's up to you to determine what you think, who you think died, and the snake or the mongoose.
David definitely died. Hey, she wouldn't have screamed no if
Yeah, it wouldn't
he
have
was
ended
fine.
like that. It wouldn't have ended like that if he didn't die.
Yeah, because once a mongoose usually gets a snake by the back of its head, it's over.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
Darius, what would you say like your favorite part of this movie? Like not like a scenario, like like I know you said Harry being an alcoholic snake, but like what do you think the best part of this movie was?
Well, I would say that there were a lot of parallels with two things in particular that I could think of. One is Rappaccini's daughter, where you have like a mad scientist and his isolated daughter. They live alone in a poison environment, and then a man from outside falls in love with her and pays dearly for it. And also the metamorphosis from Franz Kafka is very much a Kafkaesque kind of transformation, like The Fly.
Do you think that maybe Tim skinny dipped with her, and that's why he went and turned him in trying to be a snake man?
No,
Like,
I don't.
do you
I don't
think
think Tim
anyone
was
who
very good
hits
with the
on his
ladies.
daughter, he's trying to turn them into snakes?
No, I don't think Tim was
Or is
very
he just
good.
picking
I don't think he was
anybody out
very
of random?
smooth.
Is he just doing it random and picking anyone to be a snake? There's got to be some sort of like. You
Well, I
can't
don't.
just be like, "Hey, dude, I'm gonna turn you into a snake." You know what I'm saying?
I think all of his assistants were being turned into snakes because he was testing out. Well, he did have his serum, right? His anti-venom serum that he gave himself, but also I think it was just a repetition of Mengele-esque experiments trying to um, perfect his process of a snakification or herpification of the human, and that
Snakeifying.
Tim was just a failed experiment like Red Skull on his way to perfecting the serum and really like successfully transforming a human man into a snake. That was his entire life's work. Like Captain America was finally the perfection of the serum that could never be replicated. But in this case, I think the professor would have continued to do it, but he tragically but poetically gets bitten and killed by His Majesty the King Cobra.
Well, all right. Also, when he gives a speech at the end to the King Cobra, it seems like he's trying to like instigate because he tells the
Yeah,
King Cobra, "Is like there's a new threat to your throne."
right. Yeah, like it almost like a Darwinian fight for the to see who is truly the best, the King Cobra, right, the reigning king, or the new challenger to the throne, which he literally says in the case of David, who is a has the body of a snake and the mind of a man, and super soldier
I'm turning you
serum.
into a snake.
Yeah. It was the snake supremacy philosophy of his that was oddly biblical. But yeah, he's talking about them surviving like the apocalypse, like a snake. You're thinking of cockroaches, dude. But yeah, that was his human centipede, right? That was his freakish, Mengele
I,
experiment.
I would say just for like how dangerous it seemed. I get well, also depending on whether
Reckless.
it was depending on whether the snakes were defanged or devenomized. That the snake farm scene where I also the snake farm scene that fucking
Oh,
they're telling the people beforehand don't snap any pictures, and this fat
oh
fucking
God.
idiot snaps a picture and almost gets the guy killed. And then like the guy who snapped the picture has the nerve to put this look on his face like oh. Like how did nobody like
Whoa.
hit this guy in the fucking throat for what he
Yeah,
did?
indignant. Yeah. And I bet he didn't even put money in the jar.
Like
That
if this is a
photographer.
guy who would live in this age. Because I could
Yeah.
imagine people in 1973 had fucking more respect than that.
Well,
This is a 2023
sure.
guy sent back in time.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And I bet that photographer not only didn't put any money in the jar, but probably doesn't
I
even
bet
tip
he
at
did
restaurants
not.
like Mr. Pink. Yeah, no. And
They didn't even yell at him for snapping that picture. You saw that? They didn't even no one even
give him
raised
a
their
look.
voice. No one gave him a
Yeah.
smack. No one even gave him the motion, like the backhand motion where you get a smack. Nobody even did that to him.
No, but he did shoot him a dirty look, and then he turned right back to the Cobra where he was supposed to be looking. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, the snake handling, that was my favorite part.
They should have made
them,
the snake bite that guy.
yeah,
Right in his fucking
well,
neck.
audience, big audience. No, I think that handling real snakes with that hook, that was probably my favorite part. Just to watch, just watching the process of wrangling a snake, a real snake, was kind of cool to watch. As it's slithering around and he's managing it because it's kind of a dance. Like the way a bullfight is a dance.
Yeah.
Although those end in the tragic murder of an animal. The way he was sort of wrangling the snake around without getting bit by it, so that he could grab it on the
people
head.
who actually do shit like that.
Right. Well, mastery over the animal, right? The snake is an animal that has very unique way of moving, and the ability to handle a snake like professionally like that, it's still dangerous. But to those who are experienced, like it's a fascinating thing to watch. I wouldn't do it,
No,
but I like watching him do it.
neither would I.
That was
But
my
yeah.
favorite, I think.
So so he's going through a snake process. He's becoming more snake-like. Well, all right, wait, we'll go to the
Was that your
sauce
favorite
scene.
part?
How about
The
sauce scene?
metamorphosis?
The sauce scene
Yeah, the key.
where he takes that professor that was giving him shit about the grant in the beginning, and he
Uh-huh.
puts him in his snake dungeon.
Uh-huh.
And he's
That's
like,
what it
"Yeah,
was.
fuck you, dude. One key is in here, one key is in here."
Yeah. Or the anaconda's probably up in the rafters, like he said. Oh, yeah, it's just gonna hang out on the rafters. You feel better about bullfighting if you knew they ate the bull afterwards. As for asking for a Spanish friend. I mean, yeah, you talk about actually using every part of the animal. I mean, it's better. But primarily it's done for entertainment. It's different though in the case of Apocalypse Now, where it was you're obviously Coppola would not have been allowed to simply kill an animal like for the purpose of a shot in a movie, right? That's
All right. Have you ever
highly
heard?
unethical. But since the tribe was going to do it anyway, they were able to set it up and shoot something, an actual ceremony.
1 second. Have you ever heard of this movie called Milo and Otis?
Heard of it? I don't know what it's about.
It's about a dog and a cat.
Okay, so it sounds like it is
animal type,
Milo
like
Otis.
animal movies.
Yeah.
Like Benji type movies.
Okay, sure.
This was not like a fucking. It wasn't like Call of the Wild with dogs like fighting each other and shit. It was. It was.
Oh, I'm thinking of Wild Things with Denise Richards and.
Oh, okay.
No, Call of the
That's
Wild.
a totally different movie. Well, supposedly this movie, Milo and Otis, was a kids movie, and there was insane amounts of animal abuse when you look into the background of this movie.
Oh,
and this was movie, I think it was 80s. I'm pretty sure it was in the 80s.
Yeah. Well, like Cannibal Holocaust is a movie where real animals were killed for the shots in the movie, right? And that was just one of the many horrific things that were done for the process of making this movie, but which are unethical. But yeah, no, real animals were essentially sacrificed. They were murdered for the scene. And
I mean, there were no animals killed. There were no animals killed in this movie. I hope not.
Right. No, I don't think so. I think it said at the beginning.
I hope that mongoose and cobra fight was broken up before they shut the cameras off.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. There was a mongoose and a snake really fighting. That's true. I think at the beginning
Tommy,
there was like
that was real, right?
Said,
you said that was a real fight at the end.
Yeah,
right?
when I looked it up, they said it was real. They don't say if the mongoose killed the snake or not, but they said that fight between the mongoose and the king cobra was real.
What if the mongoose was defanged?
Well, you know what though, Tommy? I see like how they put out that disclaimer in the beginning that we got these snakes from these countries. There's no way they let that cobra get killed. I'm sure they would be like paying a lot of more money than they already did for the rental of that cobra. But that's kind of fucked up still though. They're like, yo, we're gonna put two animals legit against each other.
Right, that are involved to kill each other.
Thing, right? Well, we're gonna break it off.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna like animal UFC.
Well, but how do you make sure that the mongoose is not going to kill the snake? It's not just a matter of timing of like, well, we'll break it up because the mongoose goes into the kill, right? That's the final shot. But do they defang the mongoose so it can't like bite the snake's neck and kill it? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know how they would.
There's a lot of also, like I was saying, 1973.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So after all his boosters, he's turning more and more snake-like. And that's when the fucking guy comes into play, the professor that Dr. Stoner was talking to in the beginning. Yeah. And
It's getting
he's
a bit
asking about him.
Cronenberg.
He's asking about him, and he comes to the like Dr. Stoner is like, oh, he's feeling bad, even though he's turning green. This motherfucker's turning green. He's got a snake.
Yeah.
He looks like one of the V characters, and he's fucking.
Yeah, he does.
Dr. Stoner
He
tells
does.
Dr. Stoner is telling the professor is like, oh, he's not coming out today. Well, we're
He looks
working
more
on
like
something. He
V
says
than
we're
like a
working on
Gorn.
something, I think he
I'll
said.
tell you what, when he was like slamming around and he couldn't pick up the telephone, they
Yeah.
really should have had that sappy Incredible Hulk music playing.
Yeah.
The hitchhiking music.
Yeah, walking away music. Defanging the mongoose would be more cruel than killing it. Ooh.
And that's when we get this. That's when Dr. Stoner decides. First of all, the professor sneaks around. I don't understand the path. The professor seemed to be like driving for 5 minutes, and then all of a sudden he's outside the house. Like shit, like when you were just stuck around. Like I don't know. But then Dr. Stoner comes out and bonks him on the head with something, while he's seeing Dirk Benedict turn V in the fucking window. Also for 1973, other than the snake transformation was horrible, but the effects weren't bad in this.
Just do a fade cut, basically. No. I mean, it's not Cronenberg level or John Carpenter's The Thing level effects by any means, but they do basically cross cut fade to various stages of the transformation, and you think you could separate the mongoose and a snake? That's like a baby mama versus baby mama beef.
Defanging the mongoose would be more cruel than killing it.
That's like a Star Trek level ethical dilemma. Like, do we defang the mongoose, or is that worse than killing?
Is that what it's called? Man. The Hulk theme is called the Lonely Man theme. Is that what it's actually?
It's the official title, but yeah, it's kind of like, that's the
I can believe it because it sounds like a Lonely Man theme. So
he's a reptilian now. He's like lizard people.
This is where like
the Queen of England.
This is where I don't get his end game though. To turn a man into a snake.
Why did Mengele sew all those people together?
He removed his limbs, and he made him so much smaller than a human.
Oh yeah,
when
you
want to do a hybrid,
so tiny.
You want to do a hybrid thing. All right, I'm just talking about like from what I've seen with mad scientists in all sorts of fiction. It's like when you want to do a hybrid, other than just like swap one thing for another. Wouldn't you want to do a snake man hybrid? Instead of just turning a man into a snake and wasting his limbs and making him so much smaller.
Am I so insane for
coming up with logic?
Well, I mean, yeah, that's his whole point was an evolution, right? So you're not really doing anything evolutionary. If
you're de-evolutionizing.
Yeah.
Well, there's technically no such thing as de-evolution. In movies, they always get evolution wrong. Even Star Trek, it's evolution
You're going
wrong.
backwards.
Well, I think in his crazed mind, though, he really believed it was an evolution because even though he's turning him into a snake, he has all the memory and thoughts of what he was as a human.
Right. He thinks that they're more resilient survivors, and that
now Harry can't read his own books, and now Harry can't drink his own booze. He has to have this dude fucking do it for him, Dr. Stoner.
Yeah,
Harry's not evolutionized.
Well, and the whole thing is from what I was reading of some of the backstory, they were saying the concept behind it is that Stoner's trying to perfect the serum because obviously it failed on Tim.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's why it's starting to make me wonder now, was Harry not a snake? Was Harry just a snake? Because he said Tim was a failed experiment and he was trying to perfect the serum because he wanted to use it on himself.
Also, we could also go into this thing that maybe Harry was an old friend of Dr. Stoner who he wanted to preserve, right?
Mm.
And Harry like didn't want the publicity that any of the other snake people wanted, right? Or maybe like they were such
Uh,
good friends. But like you could go into a whole backstory about Dr. Stoner and Harry. They
mm.
do it, Hollywood.
Well, no.
Well,
What if
if
Harry was a colleague of his?
Yeah, he could have been a
Mhm.
fellow colleague.
He had
There's
figured
so
out
many options.
he had figured out the serum,
There's
but he
so
didn't
many
have a chance to
options.
share it with Dr. Stoner. Now Stoner is trying to
yeah,
recreate it.
Or
he's doing it again.
maybe if Harry was the crazy type to be like, try this on me, as an experimentation.
Yeah, but then why would it have failed on Tim?
Because they didn't advance. Maybe they could do it with pythons, not with king cobras yet. Because the king cobra, also remember, the king cobra was the hardest one to tame. Right? Even the daughter was saying, the daughter and Stoner were saying how unpredictable the king was.
Right. Well, but if Harry was really an old friend or colleague of Dr. Stoner, then that would be even weirder to be in Christina's bedroom, because he would have known her since she was like a child. And that would be almost as creepy as Steve coming into the window.
She was also ignorant to it.
Well, no,
Right.
It wouldn't be as creepy because he was reborn. Huh? Boom.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think Harry was still Harry. If Harry liked Jack Daniels when he was a human, and he likes Jack Daniels as a snake, he still kind of got the human side to it.
Okay, but if Stoner understands evolution, then he understands that there is no past or future. Really, it's just adaptation to a niche.
Also, maybe
and our intelligence is not designed for the niche of a snake.
Maybe he also feels that Harry is not going to be a sexual threat to his daughter, because Harry was at he was at the windowsill when Steve tried to get in there.
Yeah, well, okay, he was very protective.
Maybe he's protective.
The way we might be for like a friend's daughter, where we would just be protective of her to make sure no one else harms her.
I got another theory. What if Harry wasn't so much a person? What if Harry was like a family pet, like a dog or something one time? That's why he was so protective.
Man.
That he treated like a human.
Why does he drink?
Maybe
dogs drink. I've seen
maybe he made him do it.
What if he was a guinea pig? Well, I guess they were all metaphorical guinea pigs. Not you actually respect guinea pigs, Tommy. I'm talking about science guinea pigs. But if they were all just
bitches. Always Bogartner, damn name.
Yeah, Tommy, would you do these sorts of experiments on guinea pigs? Would you like fucking?
Well, Tommy wouldn't.
Would you have?
Hell no. Now, if you're talking, if you're saying if somebody gave me some kind of cybernetic implants so they could have laser eye blast and everything, that I might consider. Because there's a whole bunch of people that need to be taken out ASAP.
If Tommy was Dr. Stoner, he'd be turning people into guinea pigs.
Yeah, I want to see Tommy doing guinea pig taming on his front lawn for a group of people coming around. It's like, don't snap any pictures. These guinea pigs might get a little bit fucking restless.
Yeah, if Tommy Rohn directed this, it would be called Week instead of.
Like, why are you handing out? Why are you handing out hate pellets for Halloween? Trust me, you're going to develop a taste for them later.
Oh man, and Rorschach was a human who had what's that condition called? With the two-tone skin. Oh man, Space Lab will know. It's they actually let you give your character in Baldur's Gate 3. They let you oh man, my girlfriend knows it. She's asleep now. It's what's it called? I'm sure he'll know. Let's see, hair on Tim.
What are you talking about?
There's a skin condition It's not painful or harmful. It's just, but where like your pigment is inconsistent across your body, and so you have almost kind of like a Rorschach
Not
pattern
the
of
Michael
light.
Jackson thing.
No. It's both at the same time, but it's sort of like it's not. It's kind of like a Rorschach, where it's oh man.
Vitiligo?
Yes, yeah.
I couldn't think of it either. I was like, damn, I know this
Vitiligo?
one. I know this one. I couldn't think of it.
Vitiligo?
Yes.
Is that the thing that Michael Jackson had? Vitiligo?
I don't think so. No, it's more like Sia, if you know the singer Sia. You know, she's got that. But yeah, no, it's just it's uncommon, but it's not like extremely rare. And Baldur's Gate 3 lets you actually give your character. There's a slider for it. You can turn up and down. But yeah, so like if yes, I knew he would know. Thank you. Yeah, if Rorschach was once a human, turned into a guinea pig, but he was a human with vitiligo, and so that he becomes Rorschach the guinea pig during the Tommy process in the film Week, upcoming film Week. Yeah.
Yeah, he says MG. Yeah, I thought I read that somewhere. Yeah, he says Michael Jackson did have that, so that's why he lightened.
Oh, he did. Oh, he did. Okay, I didn't know that. He did have it, so he lightened the skin. Oh, okay. All right. See, I thought Michael's was just a slower process of lightening over time, or at least that, he claimed it was. Other people said that he did it just because, just to have.
Yeah, he went to his plastic surgeon and said, "Make me look like E.T."
Oh my God! Well, you guys remember the book Black Like Me?
No.
Where the author basically he wanted to write a book about like I guess the Black experience. So he had a doctor give him injections, kind of like in this film, but with but they were like pigment injections essentially, and they darkened his skin.
Oh. Yeah. One more thing, real quick before I forget that.
No, go ahead.
The vitiligo. That was one of the reasons why he started wearing the glove all the damn time.
Michael.
All right. See,
okay, that makes sense. I didn't even know that.
I thought the glove thing was after his burning.
No. It was before that. No, because he started to develop it first, and it first hit his hand. Okay. And that's why he started wearing the glove.
Right.
Oh yeah, it's burning incident. You heard about that, right, Darius?
Yeah. It was during the Pepsi or Coke commercial.
Yeah, I think it was a Pepsi.
It was Pepsi. Yeah, it was Pepsi. Yeah,
right.
He burned his hair up and everything.
Well, it's because of the Jerry curl, which was popular at the time, required a lot of chemicals.
All that soul glow just fucking caught up.
It required a relaxer that relaxes the curl of the hair so that you get a proper Jerry curl, right?
God,
so it's not. It's not straightened like a perm.
Sorry, Darius. Did anyone ever see what fucking Sammy Sosa did to himself? Holy shit!
What after the Cork incident?
No, what he did to, like he's like, all right. Everyone wants to say Michael Jackson. Just look at what Sammy Sosa did to himself.
You want me to look it up on my own?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Just look up Sammy Sosa and then look up what Sammy Sosa.
I remember what he used to look like. I remember because I remember the whole thing. That was around the time of the juicing, right? Baseball players juicing, and then the cork bat. It was a whole debacle. It became a double debacle between the juicing and the cork bat. But I remember Sammy's. I remember exactly what Sammy looked like. I haven't seen him recently, so let me look that up real quick.
I don't even think it's that recent. I think it was a while back where he all of a sudden was like Sammy, like bleached Sammy Sosa. He looked like if you took a Sammy Sosa like action figure and decided to fucking bleach it.
Whoa! Wow!
He was looking
night
for
and
that.
Day.
He was looking for that mysterious race car that everybody claims.
Oh, come on! Oh, I think he's retired now, right?
You mean the one where he could be anything? He could
Oh
choose.
man,
Choose your
I
race.
I didn't know you could just do it. It's probably expensive, but I didn't know you could just pay to have that done. To pay to have a bleaching like that.
He
I
had
mean,
a lot. He
this-
had a lot of money. I'm sure he still
Black
has
Like
a
Me
lot of
was
money.
temporary. The guy got injections, and then he was able to pass enough that he. I mean, I'll just say he infiltrated, a group of of black folks, in the community that didn't
No,
know.
he was Dominican, man.
But
What
no,
are
I
you-
mean the
what are you
author.
talking about? Send me
I'm talking
something
about the
with
author.
Dominican, man.
Dominicans. A lot of Dominicans are diverse as well, but the so the author wrote the book, right? But it was sort of like he was not a mole, but yeah, he was kind of like he's kind of an outsider infiltrating a group like a mole. And then but he made friends, and so when they were in the book, they're people he wrote about. When they found out that he was an author, right, and that he wasn't really black, I heard they were very upset about it. That the book was pretty controversial for that reason. But
All
yeah,
right,
no, he
well-
just temporarily darkened his skin for the purpose of writing that
I
book.
understand stuff like that, but then I also don't understand when it comes to along the lines of sorry, that
Celebrities.
movie with the movie that came out. See, for that I understand that. I understand like people being upset with that. Yeah, sure.
His was just hardcore research. Yeah, I mean, if you're someone who's already famous, I mean, it's going to be hard to hide. People already know what you look like. But
No, I'm gonna say though, like when it comes to stuff like Bryan Cranston having to play somebody in a wheelchair in a movie, and then wheelchair people come out and say, "Well, you have to get a wheelchair actor. You have to get a like they're really doing that
maybe
now.
well, yeah. I mean,
Nowadays,
maybe
you
they
have
couldn't
to
find
do that.
anyone.
And they do
That
this.
was-
They also do this with voice actors too. Ever since Apu, I've also noticed. Ever since Apu, it was a huge thing.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
because
Well, I mean,
one comedian who wasn't successful decided to fucking make it stink about Apu because he's Indian.
And it's all horseshit too, because growing up in the 70s and everything like that, when we seen the original Star Wars that didn't become New Hope until later, nobody gave a rat's ass that James Earl Jones voiced it. Nobody gave a shit about that because it fucking sounded terrific.
Not at all.
And we all
he's got the best voice.
we all knew by Empire that it was Luke's dad, and he's obviously he wasn't black, but nobody gave a damn.
People already knew James Earl Jones. Like he was already a well-known actor. Like we knew that
nobody
voice.
gave a shit about that stuff. Nobody cared. That hasn't become anything except a more modern problem with these people.
Yeah, I mean,
a lot more of a modern problem.
But then again,
So
in the
bad.
flip side token, these are the same people that say, "Oh, well, I don't know why you have a problem that we just race swap this character or gender swap that character." Wait a minute, you're sitting here crying about somebody not being the right color doing a voiceover.
Yeah.
what wasn't James Earl Jones in The Great White Hope back in the day? Like that movie was before Star Wars. Like he was known for The Great White Hope, and correct me if I'm wrong. I think he was in that one. I mean, like you hear that voice, you're like, oh, that's James Earl Jones. Yeah, I mean, but it doesn't matter though. I mean, it doesn't matter to anyone watching the movie.
I remember seeing this thing. It was Bill Burr doing a bit. Everyone say whatever they say about Bill Burr. Like I do and don't like Bill Burr. I don't like Bill Burr's wife, but I like Bill Burr.
I'm sure he mentions her
when I
in
used
whatever
to
you're
listen
about
to
to
that
say.
podcast and his wife would walk in. I couldn't stand when his wife walked in. Anyway, Bill Burr was talking about that whole thing I was talking about with the movie that got bullshit. It was a movie with Kevin Hart and Bryan Cranston. Bryan Cranston played a guy in a wheelchair. And people, like I said, the wheelchair advocates, and I bet you most of them weren't even people in wheelchairs. I don't know why I think that. I think it's mostly people who can stand on.
Well, it's like anything else. Are they ever of that denomination to sit there and cry and whine?
Cause of the week.
It was purple-haired monkeys.
Are you saying, Tommy? Are you saying it's their cause of the week? or cause of the month, however long they want to stretch it on.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Whatever fight that they have to back just to seem like they're virtuous.
You got to get those points. You got to get those fucking social points for standing up for the little guy. So, yeah. So people were complaining that Bryan Cranston played a guy in a wheelchair and wasn't in a wheelchair. So I like thought to myself, so what did you want? Like the fucking studio to hire a bunch of mafia guys to work him over and beat his fucking legs so he can't fucking stand while he's doing this? So anyway, Bill Burr was talking about that shit, and he was talking about like how actors like how they're not allowed to be actors now. And he's like, he's like, I saw a guy get shot in a movie, and then he was in another movie later on. He's talking about like seriously.
And see, that shit's not funny because I knew somebody and his sister was legit that way. She couldn't understand how Arnold Schwarzenegger got killed in Terminator and came back and did another movie. Like she was baffled.
Are you fucking serious?
I am dead serious. It was
and
the
how old was
funniest shit I ever heard.
Was this a child or a woman?
She was in her 20s.
Oh my fucking god!
No.
Like I could understand a 3-year-old asking that.
Dude, you know what? All you need to do is spend enough time on Twitter, and you realize that the collective intelligence of a lot of people in the world is a lot lower than people expect it to be.
Okay, you know how the whole they took her jabs thing. Now, what I do understand is wanting to give an opportunity to people, who like Bryan Cranston is playing a character. Now he's a great actor, and we know that he's playing a character in a wheelchair. So wanted to give a job opportunity to an actor who's bound to a wheelchair.
Every so that
if
means,
you can find the right one,
that means you have to like the Golden Girls, right? The woman who was on the Golden Girls was supposed to be the oldest one, and she was the youngest one, but they just put her in makeup to make her look old every time. So back then, when the Golden Girls was a popular fucking thing, like, would there have been a bunch of fucking senior citizens complaining? Oh, Sophia's not 92 years old.
I think we got to look at a lot of these movies now with absolute derision because it's just horrible things that they did. I mean, Mark Hamill never lost a hand, and here he is portraying somebody that lost a hand. Like Gary Sinise and Tom Hanks should be ashamed for their portrayals in Forrest Gump, along with Bubba as well. I mean, this is just horrible. I can't believe that we have allowed this kind of shit to perpetuate in our society.
Tom Hanks was not legit dropped off on a deserted island. You know what I'm saying?
Let's not even talk about Robert Englund not really being a burn victim. This is just horrendous.
Peter Weller was not shot in the head by a bunch of drug dealers. You know what I'm saying? Sylvester Stallone was not kicked out of a small Washington town and brought in by the police.
You guys remember Mark Margolis from Scarface?
Yep.
And he was in Breaking Bad as Hector Salamanca. Tio Hector. He was like the oldest still living Salamanca. He was not only bound to a wheelchair in that show, but he was completely paralyzed. He couldn't even talk. All he could do was ring a bell with his finger.
The bell on his wheelchair was the only way he communicated.
Yeah. And that was a show that also had Bryan Cranston in it, but you have Mark Margolis as this quadriplegic mute. Who's the victim of the ravages of time and circumstance here. But Bryan Cranston, who's in the same show with, they're not using him as an example of why not giving that role to
his eyes to play Ray Charles.
Well, that's true. What's
ironic
to me is the opposite.
Stop with this bullshit.
Well, remember
acting.
Peter Dinklage was
complaining about the dwarves. Let me also say this. There was a long time
lost jobs.
There was a long time where the character of Peter Pan was played by a fucking woman. If anyone remembers Sandy Duncan, She
Yeah.
played Peter Pan.
Sure.
Like, this shit is not new. You're not breaking any ground. It's already been done before. You're not.
What about Bart Simpson? Simpson's
Bart
voice was a
Simpson's,
woman too.
yes. And I think she also does
Sure.
Nelson's voice,
Yeah.
right? She
Yeah.
also
Oh
does the
yeah.
voice
Several
for Nelson.
characters. Yeah.
She
I think
does
Ralph.
the voice for a couple
Ralph
of
Wiggum.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's been done before.
Is
Like,
that
you're not
was that
breaking any
Nancy
new
Cartwright
ground.
or
It's like when Black Panther came out, they're like, the first ever Marvel movie. I'm like, fuck you, dickhead. I saw Blade in the fucking movies
right,
back in
which
1998.
wasn't
Suck
MCU,
my
but it was
fucking
a Marvel character.
I don't give
yeah.
a fuck about
Yeah,
the
yeah.
MCU label.
No,
'cause I'm
no,
so
no. Yeah,
tired of it.
they're talking. I mean, yeah,
Because you know what? No one gives Blade this respect. If it wasn't for fucking Blade, it wouldn't have given Marvel the balls to make all these other fucking movies. So Disney owes Blade to all that other shit.
Yeah.
Because
You're
Marvel
damn right.
did
Blade was the first one that was actually a commercial
exactly.
success.
Marvel did
Where all the other
diddly
ones failed.
exactly.
Well,
Exactly.
because it was
Marvel
so
did
dark.
diddly dick. Marvel
Well, you know
did
what?
It came
diddly
out
dick.
shortly
Here's the
after,
thing. Here's the thing.
Batman
a
and
lot of people
Robin.
miss, though. A lot of people miss the fact that Marvel was actually trying to do movies for a lot longer than people realize.
Yeah.
Like way
Yes.
before Blade,
Yes.
they were doing
Yeah.
shit in the 40s.
They were
and
trying to
everything like
get
that.
They were trying to get the canon movie deal that DC got, Tommy, with Spider-Man movies. They were trying to get I think it was Spider-Man. They were trying to get canon movie deals. The way the last two Superman movies were canon movies.
Well, I mean,
And it wasn't
if
until
ever
they went bankrupt.
If ever you want to be surprised by all the older movies that they have out there, just take a look on Tubi. They used to do these things. They were pretty much like short movies, what they called serials. So basically, they would show a different one, like every week to every 2 weeks or whatever the hell it was. They had Captain America, and they had all these other characters sitting there that they would show in the theaters. I mean, it was their first attempt at trying to put these things on the big screen. So it was done before, but it was just never done well enough until Blade came along.
Says colorism. I think he's talking about Sammy Sosa. Yeah, colorism.
They had movies that didn't even make it to the cutting room floor, like that Fantastic Four movie. Well, also they had that terrible Captain America movie that made it like straight to VHS. I was like, was this in the theater? And I looked it up. I was like, oh, okay, it was limited release. Same thing with the fucking Dolph Lundgren Punisher movie. It's like they could not get a good movie.
Yeah.
Also, DC shit the bed too a lot of times in the 80s. I'm not gonna lie.
Flash Gordon was a serial.
Yeah, but DC didn't do Flash Gordon. DC didn't do Flash Gordon.
You know,
DC,
I didn't realize that.
DC, all right. DC's hits were Superman 1 and Superman 2. Superman 3 and Superman 4 were shit. I don't know what the box office was on those, but they were, for my personal taste, garbage movies. And then they would do stuff like Supergirl. Like Supergirl was not good. The Swamp Thing movie, I like the first Swamp Thing movie. It's been a long time since I saw the second one. But DC, until Batman, it wasn't until all right, from Superman 1 to Batman, the Michael Keaton Batman, those were their two things that made things. Yeah.
And once again, DC had the same formula as Marvel. They also had the serials for RR.
Yeah.
They had serials they had the what's that, Green Hornet. They had early Batmans like before Adam West. They had Superman. They had all kinds of stuff out there as
like
well.
The World War II Batman serials that I showed on Laura's birthday.
They had tons of stuff. Like once again, if you go on Tubi, you can find all this shit and check it out yourself. Some of it was quite horrible, but some of it was actually funnily entertaining. Like some of it was quite hilarious. But yeah, I mean, you're looking at the modern Marvel of films, what they start doing with them when they finally start finding success. And it really did change the landscape quite a bit. And then for them to just sit there and discount all that because, it happened before we branded it as this is just absolute horseshit.
But the success didn't come until they went bankrupt and started licensing out all their characters to like Fox and Sony. You know, and Sony was the one that had to hit with Spider-Man, and that's when.
Don't forget Universal, because Universal's had the Hulk.
Well, when it comes to Marvel and movies, though, like if it wasn't for the success they saw off of Blade, it wouldn't have given them the balls to do X-Men and Spider-Man and then
And to
go
do a darker
on
take,
and on and
right?
on with that.
A more serious take,
Is-
like because Batman and Robin feels like, oh, that killed superhero movies. Not really, because they really never stopped, but they just changed. They changed their approach. They changed their style after Batman and Robin. They stopped being so colorful and
Well,
cartoonish.
they also
and we got
wanted
movies
to
like
make.
Blade.
They also it's like really obvious they want to make Batman the next James Bond for movies. Like we'll redo it in the next couple of years, a totally different way with a
Serialized.
totally different actor.
So I will say this though, there was one downside to Blade being so good. It did give you shit like Daredevil and Electric.
Yeah, that the fucking there was not a good streak of those Marvel movies. And honestly, I will say this: I've rewatched the first two because I never liked part 3 of the X-Men movies. I never liked part 3 from the first time I saw
Part
it,
3
and
was
I
horrible.
tried to watch it again, and I couldn't do it. But I used to like 1 and 2, and now when I rewatch 1 and 2, for some reason I just don't like them anymore. I don't know
You know
why.
what? You know what I find I like better out of the X-Men series? The Origins one.
See,
with
for
the,
me,
the,
it's all,
the first X-Men.
for me, it's all of the X-Men
First
movies.
Class, yeah.
First class, yeah.
I
like that.
I like that one. I think it had the same director though, didn't it, as the third one, which was terrible.
I hate that one. I really, really hate that one.
Perfection. That's
But
where we get
it's
Magneto
okay.
saying
We can all have differing opinions without being total fucking assholes.
No.
Oh man. I never saw Roots, but because Space Lab points out that James Earl Jones was in Roots.
I've seen some of it.
They
but
never show it on
I'm not gonna
TV.
watch all of it.
But if it ever comes on Tubi, I will absolutely. I've wanted to watch Roots for a long time. Actually, I'm a fan of LeVar Burton.
I watched it a long
as an
time ago,
actor.
and I would absolutely never watch it again after
You
reading.
mean on TV?
Yeah, like after
Was
reading
it the original
the writer guy who wrote the whole script. After what he said he just made a bunch of shit up just to try to irritate people. And I was
it
like,
supposed to be a true story?
Well, that's what he tries to say. It was based on a true story, and it turns out everything that he did was most of what he did was fabricated and shit like that. So
wasn't it a novel though? It was a novel, right?
Yeah, he wrote it, and then he had it put the freaking TV series.
Screenplay.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can look it up.
Series,
The director, what he says about it, it's pretty fucked up. He did
for
it
years
just
I've
to
called
incite
Roots
anger.
is probably the most well-known TV miniseries that everyone knows about and everyone talks about and is aware of, but never ever gets shown on any network or cable channel. Is that I haven't seen it on streaming, and I haven't seen it on DVD. Maybe it is, but it's never ever shown. As a millennial, I'm aware of Roots, but I've never seen it, and I think that's probably common for everyone my age. But it might be on streaming somewhere. I don't know, but I haven't seen it. I think it got remade though a couple of years ago. I haven't seen that version either. But everyone knows about Kunta Kinte. Although I didn't realize that LeVar Burton played them, even though I was watching Reading Rainbow and Next Generation at the same time. Because like I said, it had been on TV before, and I hadn't seen it. But no, I didn't even forget James Earl Jones was in it because I didn't even realize that.
Minus 9 years old,
loosely
8 years
based.
old when it came on TV.
Yeah,
for the first time.
Hey, what's up? Welcome back, Vigilante. So it was your lifetime, but you were real little. Okay.
No, I was saying like it was like what 87. You said you were born, right? Sorry.
Right. Yeah, when RoboCop came out. Yeah. But I mean, maybe they have. It's kind of like with Rocky. For years, I was down to watch Rocky, but they never showed it. And people were like, "What do you mean you never see Rocky?
Are you
it's
fucking
on cable
kidding
all the
me?
time,
Dude, when I was a kid,
2014, I think, is when I
Rocky
first saw it.
movies. When I was a kid, we didn't even have fucking cable. When I was a kid, and Rocky movies were on TV all the time. Like I don't
Well,
know
the
if you
problem
went
was
through those
Rocky
days.
2
I
was
don't
always
know,
being shown, and I
Darius.
wanted to watch 1 first.
I don't know if you went through those days, Darius, where you had the dial TV and the
Oh
antennas on the
yes.
back.
Oh yeah.
There were
Rabbit
4
ears. Yep.
channels, 5 channels.
Well, I had more than 4, but and 2 Canadian. Well, mainly 1 Canadian channel on top of that in Detroit because we had CBC where all the hockey games were. But yeah, no, I mean, I don't remember. Just like Doctor Who, right? Like you used to show it on PBS all the time, but I don't remember it being on PBS. I think they pulled it because it was no longer in syndication by that time. So PBS wasn't even showing Doctor Who. I didn't know. My dad remembered it, but he called it
PBS used
Time
to
Lords.
show Monty Python
So
when I was a kid.
yeah, they weren't showing that anymore. But like, I missed a lot of stuff. And like I was telling Tommy before the show, a lot of his favorite '80s cartoons, which are among his favorite toys, like He-Man and Transformers, the original pre-Beast Wars Transformers, and GI Joe. I missed all of those by just a couple of years. It's just a little too young. They moved on to '90s stuff, and I didn't see any of
Yeah,
that.
but you had some cool shit growing up as a kid in the '90s.
I had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
The '90s was kind of the last gasp of cool shit.
King Arthur,
I know
Knights of Justice.
I know I sound like a fucking cranky dude, but
well, but I've been able to like go back and find a lot of this stuff and enjoy it, or just
like
discover it for the first time. Yeah, now that I did see, but I was real little and no one remembers it, and now it's that it looks 80s to be honest, but I remember seeing it in the 90s, and it's on Peacock now, and I just watched an episode just for old because I had seen it in over 25 years. Actually, I haven't seen it in probably 30 years, and I'm like, it's real. Oh, King Arthur cartoon, and that's where I got this Viper picture for tonight's show because he's the villain.
Well,
he
now
and
there's
Morgana.
no Avatar there, so
Yeah. Viper.
So
kind of a ripoff of Cobra Commander. What?
The Viper's gone. It's not there anymore.
It's not. What? Oh, did it happen when I popped out? Let me change the thing then. When did it disappear? Why don't you tell me? How long ago did it disappear? Was it when Tommy popped out and came back?
No, you did like a 1 second drop and then came back.
Oh, I thought you dropped me. Is it back?
No.
It's not back. I'm still a nipple.
Oh yeah, you're there. No.
Okay. Yeah. No. Well, see, to me, it looked for me, it looked like Tommy disappeared. It was just you and me for a second, and then Tommy came back, and then it looked like you removed me from the show and then brought me right back. But I never it left or anything. So I didn't realize that it was like a Jens moment. This seems to happen to him a lot, and you just disappear and come back with no picture. Yeah, no. If you told me my picture was gone, I would have.
I thought you knew. I don't know. I thought you knew.
No, because nobody knows when that happens.
I guess I should have said it. My bad.
Yeah, nobody ever.
I'll let you know next
everyone still sees their picture. It has to do with the code where because it persists for you for oneself. If it's just loses the connection, so it breaks the buffer memory or something for the image. You have to reload it. But because it's my image, it doesn't have to do that. Anyway, but I mean, I would watch Fruit. So Tubi will probably be the one to have it, honestly.
Well,
it's not video. You go back and watch it. I did tell you
because I'm almost running at 2 hours. So.
All right. When you did pop, I don't remember.
We went on like a fucking 30-minute thing about not this movie. I don't know. I like this movie. I do like it. It's interesting to watch like once or twice, maybe.
Yeah. It's Kafka.
It leaves
a Saturday Night Kafka
in my mind. How a mad scientist can leave a human on the table and turn him into a snake. I do have a lot of questions about this guy's sanity.
Body horror. Yeah, it's like Cronenberg body horror.
So Dirk Benedict is now like a full on snake after the transformation of the table, and he's telling him, "You can survive the Holocaust. You can survive
Nuclear
you can
Holocaust.
I was man.
I also thought I like that part of like in Batman. It's like, you are my number one guy. Yeah, this guy, I like. He's a good actor. This guy, I'll give him a Strother Martin, Dr. Stoner. I give a thumbs up to this guy. He died in 1980. It says.
White Jesse Jackson.
Yeah, White House Sharpton. Yeah.
Or sorry, White House Sharp. Yeah, Sharpton.
Wiley,
Yeah, no,
Wiley
yeah, with the hair.
You mean Wiley Sharpton?
Yeah, that's right. What Dr. Wiley Al Sharpton is, or Yuppie Einstein. Yeah, that's right. Hold on, I gotta bring the other Snake Man in here for a sec. Oh, please continue.
No, so he gets eliminated by the King Cobra. For some reason, he calls out the King Cobra himself after telling the King Cobra in the tank after he turns Dirk Benedict. Terrible special effects. Those are the worst special effects in the movie.
They're very basic, old school, like just crosscut fade.
It was very TV. This was the type of shit where you was seeing in an old TV show.
Yeah, it was not Carpenter's The Thing.
And Dirk
it wasn't even Cronenberg level.
Dirk is a Cobra now. So Dr. Stoner puts him in the water and then goes outside because he hears the sirens. And the cops come in. Well, no, wait. First of all, he takes the snake out. And he's telling the snake. All right, the King Cobra is really pissed off. The King Cobra was pissed off at him from the beginning.
Well, he's not. He's kind of a dick to the King Cobra, even though he treats him with such regal respect. He just kind of yanks him around and milks him, and the King doesn't like that. The King is easily annoyed.
There's a police shootout with the snake after the snake kills him.
Yeah, they shoot a snake with a shotgun or the revolver.
Yeah, they shoot him with a shotgun.
Yeah.
He explodes.
Okay. No snakes were harmed in the filming of this movie.
Yeah, I hope that was a real snake they shot with a shotgun. These snakes are, and I know they're deadly.
No. This was a cannibal holocaust.
They're not asking to be in these. They're not auditioning for these movies.
Hey, now that sounds like PETA talk there. They couldn't.
It's not PETA talk. I'm just saying, I'm telling you, Darius, look up Milo and Otis.
Yeah.
Look up the movie Milo and Otis.
PETA has fucked up logic where they'll take your dog and release it into the wild where it can't survive, right?
Also, because it didn't consent
to being a pet.
They euthanize animals. So
that's why my girlfriend who loves animals hates PETA. They do. They euthanize a lot of animals actually.
So they're hypocrites.
Yeah, they're totally fine with animals dying. They just don't like animals being slaves. So. Yeah, they'll release your domesticated dog, which has sort of evolved to live with you in your home and be your friend, into the wild where it doesn't belong and can't survive because it never consented to being your pet.
I also want to see what one of these animal activists, say there's a PETA meeting and somebody lets loose a fucking wild animal that's been starved for 5-6 days in a PETA meeting and see how they feel about meat. See how they feel about the fact that certain creatures of all kinds need to eat meat. It's one thing to eat vegetables and stuff, but I'm sorry, I don't know, anyone who's playing anyone who wants to eat plant-based chicken or what, like soy chicken, like you're a fucking moron. It's stupid.
Yeah, it's one thing for Peter to put up billboards about like fur, right? Like killing animals for fur, which is a luxury item. Okay, sure, but yeah, meat, that's across a line, and then just like releasing pets into the wild, that's just stupid. And then they go and they euthanize a majority, actually, I believe, of their animals. So it's like, yeah, they're insane. And that's why South Park. I love the South Park episode that makes fun of them, where they're all living in the woods, like fucking the animals.
Yeah.
Like, we're PETA.
Yeah.
This is my wife. She's a
This
horse.
is my wife's Janice.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how they all come off, and it's not my own
Yeah,
fault
I
if
know.
I make fun of them because they're fucking stupid. Like, if you're gonna get offended because I make
Right.
fun of anyone who is a fucking moron, and I make fun of their fucking stupidity, like, why should I be like, oh, you're gonna be mad at me for laughing at your stupidity? Okay.
Don't eat animals. Animals eat animals. It's not natural. Like, no, it really is. It's totally natural to eat animals for food. What, you don't think that before modern technology and synth meat, Impossible Whoppers?
How do you think you're alive now?
Yeah,
Because
you
your
don't think
ancestors ate nothing but meat.
right? The technology argument and like the modern society arguments against doing things which are like totally normal, natural, and essential. Like, oh, we don't need to anymore because we can rig up an elaborate, expensive system that's almost as good. That we don't need to do the thing that we probably do need to do. Sure, we live in a modern society. Okay, long ago in prehistoric times, there was a tribal society. Maybe men and women needed to be different and have separate rules. But this is a modern, high-tech society. We have democracy. Like, look, don't stop. Stop. Okay.
No, no, it won't stop. It won't.
Now, there's a basis in nature, but it's from a long time ago, and we have technology. It doesn't matter.
Going back to the Bryan Cranston in a wheelchair acting in a role.
Yeah,
it won't stop.
There's a line. It might be a fuzzy line, but they go too far.
It's a good thing I don't watch modern movies anymore. I'm done. Like, the last modern movie I watched was fucking The Batman, and The Batman made me never want to watch the superhero movies ever again.
A movie that nobody liked, but they all gave it an 8 out of 10.
What are you talking about? It seems so many people love that movie that I'm talking to. Like, I don't know how you could love that movie, but all right, I'm not gonna call you an asshole over loving that movie. They were like, oh, that was one of the best ones. I'm like, no. I would rather watch the 1960s Adam West one than the Batman one more time. I hated what they did with all the characters. What they did with Catwoman, what they did with fucking Riddler, what they did with Penguin. I hated it. But anyway, oh my god.
Oh, you mean for the
everything else, but
new one.
This fucking
You
movie.
mean making the Riddler like an incel leather daddy gimp? No. Yeah, I didn't like this movie, but it's Space Lab agrees with me. Nuclear is the necessary word to nuclear holocaust is totally different.
You're off just a little bit, but no, ancient guinea pigs, they were about as big as a horse, is how big they were.
Is that legit? I was just saying that, or is that a real thing?
No, it's a real thing.
Whoa.
Yeah, their ancestral rodent that they came from. Yeah, it was like 10 times the size, and it was like about the size of a horse.
Thank
with
you, RR.
saber tooth.
I 100% agree. That movie was.
It was shit. 8 out of 10. But it was shit. And I'll never watch
fuck
it
that
again.
movie. Seriously, I was like, after that
But
movie,
8 out of 10.
it's not even like I cared about modern movies anymore. But it was like I would rather watch Sssss again than watch the Batman one more time.
The Batman wasn't
No
half the
way.
movie. The stuff was.
The Stuff was a better movie than this.
The stuff was good though. It's still on
The Stuff
Tubi.
was about killer ice cream, and it was.
But
It had no.
way better than it had.
It
any
had
right to be.
honestly that movie, in my opinion, had no business being as good as it was.
I
When the
know.
fucking premise of the movie is about killer ice cream.
I know. I kind of
And
want to
the
watch it again on
the
Tubi.
Batman. You just have Batman at your fucking exposed, your fucking exposal to put on the fucking screen. You came up with that bullshit. Where Catwoman has to give someone a white privilege speech.
I know.
No.
Yeah. And nobody questioned the casting of Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman until they wrote that line in and made her say it, and then it's like,
Nah, I
WB,
thought it wasn't just her,
wait.
but the fucking
No, but
mafia penguin, penguin,
I didn't even know Penguin was
fucking
in it. I haven't seen it.
Sopranos. Yeah, it was fucking Colin Farrell playing the penguin, but they had him in some.
Oh yeah, I did know that.
tracksuit.
I forgot. Why would they get him and
Fuck
then
that
make him
movie.
turn him to go to all the trouble of turning him into the Penguin? It doesn't make sense. Just get
Fuck
an
that
actor
movie.
who looks more like the Penguin.
Fuck that movie and fuck superheroes modern day in general. Go back
Nobody
and watch
liked
the
the
old.
movie.
Do what we do and go back and watch the old shit.
The Batman was a waste of a perfectly good Zoe Kravitz. I'll tell you.
You know what? A lot of people give that one series Gotham shit, but at least they ended it well.
I never saw it.
I didn't see the end.
There's a lot of nonsense in it, like a lot of the garbage agenda shit sprinkled here and there. But yeah, but the end of it, you finally, because the Penguin's kind of like scrawny in most of it, and he's like a gangster. He's a gangster type guy. He works, but he's trying to build his own empire. In the end, he comes out as the portly Penguin, looking like you would know from the comics.
Oh, okay.
But the Riddler they did fairly well. I mean, they both come out looking more like the comic versions.
Yeah.
At the very last episode. So I thought it was a good wrap up for that. I mean, it was just a shame that they sprinkled garbage throughout it, but they came really close on a few of those episodes.
I like the progression.
I would say
it starts with the mafia.
Yeah, I would say for a modern interpretation of it, it's not horrible. It's not horrible. It's decent. It's just that they screw up on certain characters, and
it's cheesy and comic booky, but it's old school. It's like, it's a comic. It's Batman, but it goes from when it begins. There's no supervillains. It's all just like the mob, right? You have Falcone and all the other mob families. Like the 5 families of Gotham, right?
Yeah, see,
and it's
my thing with the Batman movies, right? See, it's the DC universe. So no matter how human you are as a hero in the DC universe, you are still going to be dealing with superpowered characters.
Mm-hmm.
Batman dealt with some superpowered characters. So, I also don't understand these fucking movies where they're like, this guy who fucking swings on webs through the city and can stick to walls. Everyone needs to look so realistic in these movies that we're gonna eliminate all the costumes. Their elimination of the costumes has always bothered me in these movies. Like all these movies, I got to see with fucking Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, and I never got to see his mask. Wolverine's mask was always one of my favorite comic book character masks. And they screw us over sometimes. But, that's Hollywood.
No, at least they semi did it right with Deadpool, right?
You mean with the new one? That they're
Well,
showing
the
pictures
first
of?
one. The first one. I didn't. I seen part of the second one. I didn't really care for the second one that much, and I have no clue what they're doing with the new one. I'm talking about just Deadpool himself.
Oh, you mean with the costumes? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes they get them down. Fucking, like Rorschach. That was perfect. The way they made everything in Sin City was perfect. Oh, there's Serpentor.
There was a lot of people that shit on that Watchmen movie, but I tell you what, after reading the comic too,
Mm-hmm.
and then comparing it to the movie, there really wasn't that much change. They took a lot of the
Right.
stuff with the Black Freighter out. So I really don't understand what the hatred
Right.
is for it. I know some
And the
people
ending.
say, the Zack Snyder slow cam and this, that, and the other thing unnecessary. But I mean, if you're talking going almost beat for beat from the comic, it did a fairly damn good job of doing that.
Right?
Yeah, but
no, it's just the ending is different. That's all.
Tommy, you also know there's people who fucking completely hate both versions of it. There's people who hate the comic The Watchmen, and there's people who hate the movie The Watchmen. Like, that's not a universally liked
But they love the
story.
HBO series.
Oh my god! Once I heard about the HBO series, I was like,
Well,
okay.
I've got somebody here who has something to say to them. When they're screaming for help in the sea of their own filth, I will look down at them and say, no.
It wasn't
You
like
understand. I
for
got stuck here with you.
for comic to movie translation, it was one of the better ones, like that in Sin City. And the first Ninja
yeah.
Turtles. The first Ninja Turtles did a good job too. For
10-inch
the
Mutant
story.
Ninja Turtles. Yeah. Yeah.
No, not that.
Classic.
Not that one. Or
April O'Neil.
or Flesh Gordon.
Now that's serious. That's a serious. I watched like 4 or 5 episodes of the HBO watch, but that was like just a.
Why?
You know what? You are
I
one
had to
hell of
know.
a person, Darius, because I couldn't get through one episode, not even one. I got like maybe part way into the first episode, and I said, "Screw this shit." And I did the same thing with that Pennyworth series. Oh, god awful. And then I turned on. Oh god, you want to talk about just like
Pennyworth.
watching like a huge pile of shit on Max? Try watching that freaking newer version of Interview with the Vampire. I got about I don't even think I made it 15 minutes into it, and I turned it right off, and I deleted it from my list. I was like, nope, I don't want to ever see that thing pop up on my screen.
Really?
Again. Yeah, they freaking went full, diversity fucking nonsense with the whole thing.
What? Well, how do you have enough room in Interview? I read the book, and there's not that many characters.
No, you know what? Well,
very simple.
I'm not surprised because I saw a fucking a comic piece of where they had the rights to Watchmen and they did a Hillary Clinton thing. I'm not kidding. Where I think
on HBO?
No, it was a comic. It was in the comics.
Oh, after DC started rolling them in.
Yeah.
Like the button, Dr. Manhattan button.
It was something along the lines of her sitting like Dr. Manhattan. I think it was something like along those lines. So yeah, DC's been lost for a while. They've all been lost for a while.
You didn't read the button?
You guys got to fucking take along the lines of Sssss and do one and done. Anyway, yeah. Sorry, we'll wrap this up. So,
I do not recommend the HBO watch unless it's just exercise in absurdity.
So, Dirk Benedict is now a snake. He gets into a brawl with a vicious mongoose who's been pissed off the whole movie. And he's killed. Supposedly, right? Tommy says he's killed.
Yeah, that's what they say. They say, it's pretty much a kill because, like I said, once the mongoose gets him on the back of the head, it's over.
And poor Dirk Benedict, he didn't expect any of this Poor guy. I feel bad for him. This is a character I actually feel bad for in the movie.
Yeah. Help me. Help me.
And that's our movie with her screaming. Ah! And fucking with her giant fucking round glasses.
That was great. It was the whole Vader scene. No.
Ooh.
So yeah. What'd you guys think of this movie, Tommy?
Yeah, I didn't hate it. I thought it. I
Mhm.
thought there were scenes in it that were really hokey and really bad. You know, like you would expect from a B-rated movie. But I mean, overall, I thought the story was kind of fun, even if goofy. And I think I would give this one a 6 out of 10. I really didn't think it was that bad. Yeah,
I guess especially for 1973 standards, right?
seen much worse.
True.
Yes, we have.
I've seen much worse from recent.
Mhm.
That
There's a
was
basket
way
case,
bigger
too,
budget
on
than this.
TV. Yeah. Oh, budget. I mean, it's not how much money; it's how you spend it.
What'd you think of this, Darius?
Yeah, I'll probably give it a 5. What a 5! But you gave it. And
So
Dirk Benedict ass in a blur and tits. You almost got to see tits twice.
Oh, wait a minute! Don't you forgot about Tim's ass? You got to see Tim's ass
Almost.
too.
Oh yeah, Tim's a human ass with no legs as a snake. That was a not a
Yeah,
great
see, that's like
costume.
go into modern day standards. Was he really a triple amputee?
Yeah,
Seriously, like
man.
he had one
re-
arm and 3 nubs.
Just remember, 7 little people actors were screwed out of a job thanks to Peter Dinklage, and you know,
And now we
Hollywood
got
is
the
a
7
dignified.
diverse people.
They took her jams. I mean, if I was 4 feet tall, I'd be pissed. So
The 7
Anyway.
dwarversities.
yeah, man. Well, if you can't work in Hollywood, you gotta, I mean, Hollywood is a great land of opportunity for little people to have jobs, as actors, and don't try to take that away. Anyway, yeah, I mean, this was not a whole lot going
5.
on, really,
You
but
said,
yeah,
you
it's
said
it's
5, Tommy.
not
You
terrible.
said 6.
Yeah, yep, he said 6.
I said 6.
6.
6 toes out of 10.
I give this a combination of your guys 6.5. It was very, very cheesy, but the story was for a TV movie back in 1973. I think I might have been captivated seeing this as a kid. The effects weren't bad except for a couple things. A TV movie, just really, this was a TV movie. There were so much worse looking actual movies back then. They couldn't put
Oh,
this
yeah.
out in the theater and show some titties. That woman in the fucking tent. That woman in the fucking sideshow tent. That
Oh,
woman
yeah,
should have showed her
sideshow.
tits.
Oh yeah. Well, if this is R, they would have been out immediately.
Well, you got to remember. I mean, I think this was right around the time when they just changed how films are rated and everything like that. Because if you remember 1965 with Logan's Run, they showed everything in that.
Mm-hmm.
Trim,
Oh yeah.
tits, everything. No care, and that thing was not rated R.
It was probably rated G. Yeah,
It was rated PG at the time.
Oh, okay. In the 60s, everything was rated. Like Planet of the Apes was rated G, and the final lines are "Damn you all to hell." Yeah. G. Anyway,
Yeah, man.
I appreciate everyone in the chat helping me out as well. I'd love to hear what RR thinks of HBO's Watchmen. One day,
Oh, Tommy, you're here.
Tommy.
Space Lab. Nate. I don't like calling you Space Lab. I call him Nate.
I love just saying Space Lab.
Vigilante. Thank you guys for coming through.
I could always count on Space Lab to help me think of whatever's on the tip of my tongue. And I think,
Down the line. I think that might be it down the line. Let me see. Bone.
Bone. He's probably in bed. Appreciate you showing up. Spoiler 3. Afraid not.
Yeah, guys. All right. What do you? I have a choice of 2 movies for next week. What do you guys say? I have either Night of the Creeps or Maniac.
Oh, isn't Maniac famous?
I think Night of the Creeps might be more famous than Maniac.
Maniac got remade, didn't it?
Yeah, I think with fucking Elijah Wood. I think.
Oh, I thought it was the
This
all
is the
female
original
cast.
one. The one.
You know what I would say.
Maniac.
Eddie from Iron Maiden makes an appearance in it. It looks like him. In the Creeps.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It looks like
I never
Eddie
heard
from
of that.
Iron Maiden.
I watched it once years ago, and I gotta see it again.
Now I have to pick Maniac just because I've heard of it, and
Okay, so I
was
gotta be a
curious.
tiebreaker. So I gotta be the tiebreaker.
Yeah, you gotta be the tiebreaker.
All right.
And since it got remade, I can make a comparison after that.
I think I want to watch Night of the Creeps next week. So,
All right.
and then the week after that we'll do Maniac. Maniac's a little bit more hardcore than Night of the Creeps. Night of the Creeps is goofy.
Oh.
Maniac is, yeah, Maniac is not like a fun movie.
No, well, we've seen
No,
hardcore
it's
movies. It can't be worse than
I
Basket
know,
Case.
yeah. I'm just saying, it's not a fun. Yeah, man. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
This was fun.
Tommy.
Hey, it's Tommy in the Guinea Pig Collective. You can find me over here on YouTube, unfortunately. Rumble and Odyssey as well, doing what I do best, doing toy reviews, the pigs taking over the channel, and of course still doing BattleBots, which we are actually in the process of creating a brand new one. It's been an awful long time, and it's time to crack the knuckles, get back down to it in between doing dioramas, and of course hanging out with all my good friends on all these different streams. Thank you for everybody who's been hanging out in the chat and taking part of it. Really do appreciate it, and I hope that you have a good one. Remember, never let anybody tell you what you can and can't say, what you should or should not think, because your silence and your compliance gives consent. And then the next stream I will be doing is on Tuesday. We're going to be coming back again with Going Old School, and I'm going to be delving into one of our main topics is going to be a Halloween-themed cartoon. I'm not going to say what it is now, so you're going to have to come by and check it out. Should be a lot of fun to discuss that leading into the last week before horror. And then the following Tuesday, I won't be doing the Tuesday stream. I will be doing the Wednesday stream because I'm switching out with our good friend Trina from Real Horror so she can actually have the Halloween spot to talk about the last horror movie of the month, which will be Halloween. Slasher, as always, thanks for having me on. Darius, thanks as well for being good company with us. And thank you to everybody in the chat as well. Hope you have a good one. Week.
You're my bro. You're my boy, Blue.
Hey, thanks again for doing the
Darius,
movie.
Yeah,
you can hear me, right?
Hey, yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, thanks again for doing the movie and inviting me and hanging out. Yeah, and this was fun, and the German word for snake is Schlange, so just a fun fact of the day. So speaking of Schlange, we got to see Dirk and the full Benedict. I'm looking forward to next week.
You didn't get the full Benedict because they put leaves over him.
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah, you can catch me here and around all over the place. You know, I'm always rushed around, so you never know where you'll see me, but you will see me again. And yeah, no, this is a chill experience I look forward to every week. And thank you to everyone in the
Yeah,
chat
man. That's what I try
for
to do.
being helpful and for hanging out.
Thank you. All right. So Night of the Creeps, Darius. We'll do Maniac the next week. After that,
Okay.
sound good?
Yeah, yeah, sounds good.
All right. Later, folks.